is the Big O Show. This 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 is...
Just one place sold the most Acura models in the last 16 years. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive the new 2024 MDX, $469 a month during our 16th anniversary sale.
For over 16 years, EJD has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJD is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
So here's the putting green. See? There you go. Got two flags. One is over there where Cutter's Edge Pro. It's not coming out now. Come on. Come on, wind. Give me a little wind. No, unfortunately. But there you go. And this one says Big O here. There you go. So there's my putting green. It's about, I would say about 25 feet, something like that. I get to practice, have a little fun. See? And then, of course, we got, the bunkers. Got to have the bunkers, man. Got all kinds of bunkers there. You know what I'm saying? So that's a taste of our backyard. There's Maiden right there. Maiden. Bono, how you doing, Bono? Bono. He's a Carolina dog, by the way. These dogs are amazing. Their temperaments are awesome. But there is the Sylvester Palm, which is just beautiful. All right, call my guys, Will and Mike at Cutter's Edge Pro. They will take care of you. Dogs are not included, okay? Can't include the dogs. Those are mine. But the exceptional work, oh baby, yes. Make your home an oasis. CuttersEdgePro.com. Go to their Instagram page, by the way, so you can see a lot of the before and after work that they do. And it is exceptional, baby. This thing's been on here for about 9 months. No grass growing through it or anything like that. Right, Bono? Huh? Bono!
Just one place sold the most Acura models in the last 16 years. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive the new 2024 RDX, $419 a month during our 16th anniversary sale.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Welton Ra has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Ra, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Ra can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Ra can help. Call 954-966-4646.
Take a journey to our Caribbean paradise at Toyota of Hollywood. Get in the groove with great deals on over 2,000 Toyotas, like a Corolla, not $24,000, just $17,975. You'll be cruising and chilling with super low 2.99% financing. Feel the rhythms of the Caribbean today at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard. Hope everyone is doing well out there. Yes, sir. All right. Ready to rock on a hump day on a Wednesday. Got a lot of things going on. Get ready for a parade. We've got issues with Tua. We're waiting for the market to, the crypto market to explode. Dow Jones, by the way, has opened up down 154 points. The S&P is down 7.5. NASDAQ barely down like a 10,000th of a point. But, hey, better days ahead. We are just waiting and waiting and waiting. So, lots of things to talk about. We got the NBA draft tonight. The Heat have the 15th pick. Why'd they separate the two rounds? Why? Nobody gave a shit about half the first round. You tune in to half the first round in the NBA, the second half, only because your team may have one of those picks. But you're not watching all the way through. This isn't the NFL draft. I'm not exactly sure what the NBA thinks they are, but whatever, Like, seriously, you're going to have a second day for the second round. I guess you have enough suckers to watch, but I know Miami picks, I think I wrote it down somewhere, 43rd. Yeah. I'll be watching something else, and I'll go back to it. And what pick are they? Or maybe, you know what? I'll probably check. You know what? I'll check my Twitter feed, and I'll check from Ira and Anthony and, and Tim Reynolds and all these people I cover, and I'll see, okay. They're at number 41. All right, let me go over to the and let me go check out the pick. And then I'll go back to what I'm watching. I mean, seriously, wow. Who gives a shit about the second round in the NBA draft? I mean, you really have no life if you're watching the second round of the NBA draft. I get if you watch the first round. Even if you watch the whole round, I get it. Don't really understand it, but I get it. You know what I'm saying? So most of us don't really even know all the players. I know I don't. Not anymore. I used to know all the players back in the day when guys used to stay in school 3-4 years, 5 years sometimes. When you had that, then you got to know the players. Nowadays, I don't even watch college basketball. I watch UM and FAU and FIU and Nova, and that's it. That's all I watch, local. That's who I am. Doesn't matter. Inter Miami, Miami FC, that's all. I'm going to watch my local stuff for sure because that's who I am. But, God, really, seriously. I mean, come on, dude. You got a whole show for the second round. That's boring as a mofo, dude. Boring. But anyway, it is what it is. So we have the first round, and the Heat have been doing a good job with the first round. So I am intrigued to see what happens. Do they get the guard? Do they go big? I have no idea. I'm not smart enough. I don't follow it enough. I don't really dig deep into it. So I'm not the one to give you insight on any of this kind of. I don't really think anybody can really give you insight on this stuff because these guys are so young and so raw. It's really hard to figure out. What is that? Somebody there putting something like Canada is effed, and there's some chart that's going out of. It must be something with their economy is screwed. But anyway. So I've got the board in front of me with all kinds of news things coming across. So sometimes it catches my attention, some stuff that I start seeing. But anyway, so we got a bunch of stuff. We got the parade on Sunday, by the way. So draft tonight, parade on Sunday, Inter Miami on the road on Saturday to take on Nashville. They continue to win without Messi and Suarez and Rojas, which is just absolutely impressive, which is good stuff. We got to talk about what's going on with Tua. I got some information for you on that. We have a trade in the NBA, which we've got to talk about this one because this one's very interesting. And obviously, we got a bunch of music notes and news and all kinds of stuff. By the way, I just realized and checking out the news and checking out some of the music stuff this morning that the Alarm is here next week, I believe, in Respectable Street. By the way, Pat in Nashville, you're always on. I don't know if you're watching right now. You said you want to see the Alarm next Wednesday here in West Palm Beach, the Alarm. Okay? Let me see. Let me make sure because I saw it there on the listing. But you never know if maybe they're wrong or something, or maybe it was canceled. But I'm gonna hit it on Ticketmaster for the hell of it. And let's see. It says the Alarm, the next date postponed with Gene Loves Jezebel at Clearwater. Postpone. Oh, okay. Canceled. Postpone. See, this is why I checked. Damn it. There you go. See? Postponed, dude. So I was pumped up. I just saw this before I got on, and I forgot to check. Don't worry about it, Pat.
looks like the alarm is not coming. And it looks like that listing is still, I guess they didn't update it. And so depressing. No alarm for me next Wednesday at Respectable Street in West Palm Beach. Damn it. Now that's depressing. Seriously, that's depressing. It would have been nice to see the alarm. Would have been fun. Anyway, Argentina got lucky last night. Hey, bro, they won. They got it done. Doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, breaks happen. So thank you, Giovanni. This is actually one of my favorite hats that I have in my collection. I bought this one, God, several years ago. I don't know, 7-8 years ago or something like that, I would say. I've got a couple of Miami FC hats, obviously, and this is a Miami FC kit we have, obviously. I'm all Miami, dude. I'm all South Florida. Always have been, always will be. So, I feel like giving a little love to Miami FC today. So might as well. And so, yeah, I've got several jerseys of Miami. Oh, I used to work for Miami FC for a few years. So that's why. And I would always purchase. Every time I would go to the game, I would probably purchase a shirt. They have some of the coolest shirts, dude. I have so many really, really cool Miami FC shirts that it's just actually badass. So as always, I'm a local guy, and I will always be that way. Born and raised here, and that's my thing. So we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today on the show, and another great stat that cannot be denied. Also, we will bring that up too, that we got to talk about. Plus, we have guests. We have David Furones at 11 o'clock. We have Manny Navarro at 11:45. We have David Dwork, who covered the entire Panther run and everything in Edmonton, here, all that stuff, the entire season, and everything going on with the Panthers. So David Dwork from the Hockey News and the Hockey Show with Roy Bellamy. He'll join us at 12:15. So it's pretty cool. There you go. By the way, starting in August, we will add a NIL recruiting segment also on the show. So we'll have that starting in August. So we thank the great people at the Big Cheese. So they're joining the family. Big Cheese started with us on the podcast or on the live show, because we're really not a podcast. We're a live show on YouTube, and then we podcast it. But when we started this about 4 years ago, Big Cheese started with us, and then we went into the pandemic and, all that kind of stuff. So we're getting them back. And so we appreciate it, as always. And, it's just thanks to Billy and Gary, great people, as always, out there at the Big Cheese. It's how we survive, man. Great sponsors that support our platform and believe in what we do, because, we're true South Florida sports, top to bottom. So, it's one of those things. So we appreciate local businesses, national businesses supporting what we do. Sloman's Home Shield, by the way. Sloman's will start with us again in August, and looking forward to getting Sloman's back for the regular season, as they always do. So I'll always appreciate it. And remember, folks, if your business wants to join our platform, which we welcome it, and we'd love to broadcast from your business anywhere in South Florida, the United States, anywhere in the country. We're still anywhere in the world. We're still waiting. Sean and I are still waiting for the first sponsor that flies us out of the country to go do a show at their spot. That would be pretty cool. And, obviously when we fly out or we go different places, we don't do just one show. We do multiple shows. So if you want to reach out to us, there's our business line. If you want to be one of our fantastic sponsors and the reason why we survive, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664.
4664. And that is purely for business. It is not some kind of a request line or a Talk Sports line or anything like that. But if your business wants to join our platform, which we welcome it, 786-754-4664. All right, let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Alan Blanco, man, just amazing people, custom printing and embroidery. They're doing great work for us. We love what they're doing, man. Reach out to them if your company needs some new uniforms or hats or shirts or whatever it is. Reach out to 3A Graphics. They're in Hialeah, 786-618-1443. You could probably do a lot of it by phone and email and all that kind of stuff. So reach out to Alan wherever you're at, 786-618-1443. Custom printing and embroidery, 3A Graphics, man. Great people. Saturday, we've got Inter Miami hitting the road to take on Nashville. 8:30 is the game time, and the over and under is 2.5 goals. Nashville is -120 on the money line. Inter Miami plus 260 on the money line. I kind of like that, actually. You know, Inter's played pretty well even without the guys. They're talented even without the guys. Plus 260, I kind of like that. Anyway, Sunday will be the Panthers parade in Fort Lauderdale Beach, right there on A1A. Should be a lot of fun. The NBA draft is tonight and tomorrow night. First round's tonight, second round tomorrow night. Heat will select number 15 tonight, number 43 tomorrow in the second round. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. All right. Yes. All right. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? All right, we got plenty of time, so we get to the top of the hour. Don't forget, you can always make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Another great way to support our show. Super Chats also, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. And, of course, you know we love our Bitcoin donations. Nothing better than our Bitcoin donations. We got Axel is in number one. Tua getting Trevor Lawrence money. We shall see. Steve Chapman is in. Now that the NHL, NBA are over, what we do with ourselves until training camp. Well, that's you, not me. I got Inter Miami, my brother. So, you know, I'm having a fun season. Watch. It's gotten even the Inter Miami season, for those of us that you know love soccer, it's gotten even better, because when we had this Messi dependence where whenever he missed a game, it was like done. That's kind of changed lately. And that's been a lot of fun to watch some of these young guys really raise their game. And at the same time, I got to give Tata some credit, because I wasn't happy with Tata because he wasn't showing me shit without Messi. And finally, it's taken a little over a year, but, you know, finally I'm seeing something without Messi. So that to me is big time progress. So for you, Steve, you'll be bored, but I am incredibly entertained every week now that I've got Inter Miami doing their thing. And that'll keep me busy until I get my Canes and my Dolphins on track. So I'm an all sports guy. So year round for me, it doesn't stop, which is really cool. NorCal is in, up at 5:30. Might as well roll up a fatty and get ready for the Big O Show. There we go. Wake and bake, Finn's Laws. Steven Gonzalez is in. Draft is tonight. I see moves going on. KD to the Rockets. Looks like the Heat are staying with Jimmy. What do you think? We shall talk about that. Ray Sosa, Morning O. Did you see how many first-round picks? Yes, we will talk about the Mikal Bridges trade.
Norca has 2 thumbs up with 2 accounts. I love it. Okay, now we have to worry about the Tua contract situation. Gus 1388. We will talk about that. Alexis Palenzuela, One-Eyed Jack is in. Jay Gelfin. That's right. Smash the like button. Come on, we're at 66 and 200 are watching. So let's go, man. Let's go. You want me to talk Tua and stuff? Let's go, man. Hit it. Hit it if you want me to talk Tua and Dolphins. Get us. We should get to 200 right away. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, we should be able to turn 66 into 200 like this if everybody hits it. Come on, man. It's at 202 now. We're at 73. Tear some ass. Let's go. We work hard for you. All I ask is for, that's it. Hit a little thumbs up, dude. Light it up, dude. J-Town, Jeff in Long Island, John Santos is concerned about the Tua deal. I'll tell you, if you have to be, don't worry. He's out in Stewart. Heriberto, Jamie Zoria out in San Jose. Mitchell Young. J-Ta says, why is some people so worried? If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, oh, well, the Dolphins will still be playing in the fall. I'm a Tua guy, but don't let the contract stuff bother me. Nope. But there's stuff to talk about. Juicy stuff to talk about. Dude 67, Timothy Eason, Kyle Cockrell. I'm buying crypto as we speak. I got it at 59, bro. I got it at 59. I got it at 60. I was able to get it a couple times. It's good. I know, and 61 too. So yeah. And then some of the altcoins that I really like, they went under a number, my average. And if I can lower my average, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stay lowering my averages. That's what you do here. You know, it's really hard. And Kyle, I'm glad you brought this up. The hardest thing to do is to buy when the market is red, because it's so easy to buy when it's going up because you feel good, but you're not really making the same kind of money as you know, because you're buying now, because that's, you know, that's the smart people buy when it's the worst, when it looks bleak. You know what I'm saying? Because you know that that's the bottom. And so you might as well take advantage of the bottom. And if you take advantage of the bottom, when it bounces, you're going to go, wow, man, my patience, my diligence, my commitment, it paid off even more. You know, Neutron, I've been able to lower the price on Neutron several times now because I've been able to go back to it at 44 and 45 and 46 cents and all that. You know what I mean? And so that was when I didn't get to lower it to there, but you know, when you had it up into the 90s, now you're lowering it down, and I bought it some at the 70s, and now I'm buying some in the 40s. So I'm lowering Neutron, and I'm getting it at prices I never got Neutron before. So if the first time I bought Neutron was at 91 cents, dude. And I bought them between 91 and then $1.14, 15, 16. You know what I mean? So now that it's in the 40s, you know, I'm not going to punk out now. I still believe in it the same way, but I understand other people had to sell, and that cut the price down. Better for me. You know, the way I look at it with the whole Bitcoin thing, brother, if the German government wants to be dumb mother effers, then go ahead. Thank you, Germans. Appreciate you, you dumbasses. Thank you for selling, you know, some of your Bitcoin and shocking the market and knocking down the price. I appreciate it. I got to get more cheap Bitcoin. You're this stretch here, this lull that we've been in for 3 months. Thank you. It allows me to continue to accumulate. I'm not going to punk out. I'm not going to get nervous here. Did I get nervous when Bitcoin was at 16,000? No. So what the fuck am I going to get nervous about at 59 or 60 or 61? Get the hell out of here. I'm going to buy even more. Did I flinch when Cardano was at 24 cents? No.
I bought it. Now, it's not there again. It's like in the 40s, I believe, 38 cents or 36 cents or something. So I haven't bought Cardano because it's at 39 cents. I haven't bought Cardano because it hasn't gone low enough. But if it goes lower, it gets into the 20s, I'm going to start buying again. Because I'm staking at the same time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not, if you did your homework and you believe in whatever it is and you have an opportunity to lower your average, like what Kyle's doing, that's what this is all about. If you don't have the conviction and you didn't do your homework, then I get it. And, don't do anything, sell, panic, whatever, that's cool. But if you did do your homework, if you feel the same way about it, nothing's changed. It's just a matter of the market volatility that's in it. The volatility is opportunity. It's not negativity. It's opportunity. You have to, if you have the conviction, if you have the belief, then it's an opportunity. If you didn't do your homework and you don't know, or you don't believe, then obviously it's not an opportunity for you. You're looking at it as an absolute negative, and oh my God, my world is over. My investment has gone to shit. It's kind of that's the difference. I see Neutron drop to under prices that I am excited. I see Bitcoin dip and hold at a lower price, and I don't flinch. I'm excited because I know the end game. I know what's coming. I know that they're going to keep printing money. I know they're going to keep screwing up our dollar and our economy. Doesn't matter which two of the old farts that we put in office. Don't care if it's a donkey or an elephant. Either way, both idiots are going to print $10 trillion in the next 4 years. Doesn't matter which idiot. That's all they do. They've already proven it in their 4 years each time. Each guy, that's all they've done. And that's what's next. That record printing is coming in the next 4 years because we have no choice. We're a debt-ridden society. So I know that crypto and the blockchain and Bitcoin and Ethereum and all that is going to be the safe haven for many, many people because the dollar is not. So I know what my conviction is. So I know if I can get more Ondo, or if I'm going to get more shrapnel, if I'm going to get more Neutron, or if I'm going to get more Sailor, if I'm going to get more Bitcoin, I'm going to do it. Because I believe in what I studied and followed and everything. I totally believe in what's going on. And since I've been talking about it for 4 years, I don't know, every day we get closer to fruition. Every day gets more and more clear what I've been telling you guys. Shit, I told you guys a few years back that banks would be closing. So it's there. The writing's on the wall. And so, Kyle, you're 100% right. This is what we have to do. We have to take advantage, just like NVIDIA. NVIDIA splits, buy it, dude. We talked about this. It's a great buy, and it's going up. Some things you have to take advantage of. Zilla Fatu says Hibeto Martinez. I don't know what that means. Frankie Fresco, is that like some basketball player or something? I have no idea. Captain Saki is in Tarpon Springs in the house. That's it. Oh, yes.
Pro wrestler. Zilla Fatu, pro wrestler.
Oh, pro wrestler? What is he fighting tonight or something?
No, he's one of the guys that are probably the next in line for the Samoan dynasty.
Okay.
Samoan dynasty guys.
So he just threw that out of the blue.
He's one of the hot names in the indie scene right now, so he's probably thinking he's the next one to get signed by WWE.
I know, but I love how Martinez pulls it right out of his ass and just throws it out. Yeah. Zilla Fatu, and I'm like, okay.
I'm guessing that's where he's heading with that. I don't know 100%. I'll have to look around.
All right.
I just love that it comes out of nowhere. Zilla for 2. And so we will go with it. Alexander Rene Diaz in. Skylar Tipton. I know you'll probably cover it. I'm sure a deal still gets done, but that Jeff Darlington news on Tua deal had me groaning. It should. It should. We will explain. Let's see. Dude 67. Donardo Joseph. Rosendo. Today's the opportunity to radiate positivity, embrace the challenges, celebrate the victories, and let the energy of optimism guide and protect you. Thank you, Rosendo. Thank you, Ray, for the compliment on the hat. It is a killer hat. Drago, Joseph, Giovanni Ray. Let's see. We've seen this story time and time again. Tua's deal will get done. People need to chill out. Yes, to a certain extent. Let's see. Giovanni in the house. J-Town. Let's see. Josh, what up? Oh, and Sean. The only guy I know is Bronny James. Yeah, right. It's like the basketball draft is just lame as hell nowadays. Ray says makes sense that the parade would be A1A. Of course, definitely. Crypto Fins, Cosa Nostra, Gordon Shumway. Did you see the video of D. Furones posted of the Panthers goal with the Spanish radio call? Felt like a football call. Yeah. We'll have Furones on today. R.I.P. to Roman Reigns' dad, Sika. Okay. Les Gems, false alarm. I like that. Lewis says, Big O, remember Miami Fusion Soccer? I used to see them play. Yes. If you want, I can go get a Miami Fusion hat or a jersey too. If you want, I can do that also. You know, I've got it also. I've got all those things. Let's see. There we go. Boca jaw surgery. Sneak attack. Ray Varnicus. Alarmo will retake his rightful spot. Yes, he will very soon. Alarmo will return. Murphy, John Padilla, Eddie Lepp says heading down with the family tomorrow. The big cheese is always on the list. That's right, baby. You got the big cheese is, all the pastas imported from Italy. It's just those garlic breads are to die for. God, we will be broadcasting in October at the Big Cheese. Okay, we haven't come up with the date yet, but I'm going to bring a bunch of prizes, and we need to make that a big-ass event in October. We need a bunch of you to show up in October. So get ready for that, dude. Plus, Jesus, the food at the Big Cheese, that's awesome. What do you think? Do we do a morning? Well, we have to. No, it can't be morning because people aren't going to eat pasta. So it has to be a midday lunch or afternoon show at the Big Cheese in October. Yes. Let's see. There's always South Florida sports. I got the Euros, Copa, MLS, and his extreme measure when desperate. Check out an inning or two. No, I'm not. No baseball for me anymore. I'm done with that team. Until they start spending, stop. I'm not going to bother anymore with them. I cannot. I will not. I'm not doing it anymore. I will not talk about them. They get no pub on this show from here on out. Nothing. EJ Barro. Let's see. Hiberto Martinez. Thank you, sir, for the love. I hit the like button. I was number 5. I wish I could hit it multiple times. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate it. We're still at 124 with 197 watching. Come on, guys. Let's go. Ocala Joe is in. While I wait for football to start, I'll just entertain myself with Bitcoin and stacking up. That's it. See, you're one of the smart ones. That's what you got to do, bro. Take advantage. Kyle believes in his Caspa. Damn right. If you believe in it, and there's a dip, and you can lower your average, that's what you do, man. Unless it's Bitcoin, just buy.
Not a financial advisor, but that's what I'm doing. So B-Rob in the house. Kenya Rankin in the house. Let's see. Tua will be with Miami a minimum of 3 years if that's the route Greer wants to go. Yeah. Ando is a great AI play. BitTensor, Tau is as well. Yeah, but Ando hasn't had the run that BitTensor already has had. That's the thing. But, I mean, we gave you Ando at 22 cents. So you're already killing it by what we told you with Ando. And I still think it's going to 10, 15x easily from here in the rest of this bull run. So Kevin Clement says, I'm convinced that the Finns just don't want to win at all. Ross is making money with the way they are, so don't upset the apple cart. Kevin, my brother, that's some really stupid ass shit, dude, to say. They want to win badly. Badly. If they don't win, it's because things didn't go their way, or they made a bad decision, or they made a bad signing, or a bad draft, or a bad trade, or the players didn't play well enough, or whatever it is. But it has zero to do with the owner, the front office, the coaches, or the players not wanting to win. They all want to win. That's the dumbest shit in the world, my brother. And don't go repeating that because that's just embarrassing stuff to say. It's really dumb shit to say. You know, on this show, I'm not going to hold. I told you, I'm not here about your feelings. But I'm here to help you. I'm going to help you. If you listen, we will help you. And Kevin, I'm going to try to help you here. Brutally honest, I'm going to try to help you. That's some of the dumbest and ignorant shit to say out there. So don't repeat it because it makes you look really stupid. I mean, really fucking stupid. I think I'm being kind of clear on this, right? I think you kind of understand what I'm saying, right? Okay. Anyway.
Stupid chat. Run for cover. Grab the earmuffs. Hide the children. Our IQ is being sucked into a wormhole. Save your brain cells. Stupid chat.
Yep, that's about it. Big O Pompey is reporting Sixers are willing to give Butler a max extension if a trade can be worked out, but the Heat are unwilling to deal him. Is that a mistake by the Heat? Well, I'll tell you this, Air Tito. It's an incredibly monster mistake. That's all. It'll be one of the dumbest moves in Heat history. If you have a chance to trade Butler and get a load of picks, and let's talk about that right now. Okay? You know, we saw last night the Knicks trade for Mikal Bridges from the Nets. They traded first-round picks in 25, 26, 29, and 31, all unprotected. They traded a 2025 unprotected pick also via Milwaukee. They have a pick swap in 2028. And they're trading away a 2025 second-round pick plus Bojan Bogdanovic. Okay? For a guy that averages 19 points, 4.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 44% shooting, 37% from three-point range. His resume and his impact doesn't even come close to what Jimmy Butler does. When healthy, when he can play. Right? And the Miami Heat are going nowhere. Okay? I guess I'm the only one that wants to be honest in the media. Maybe wants to be honest about the Miami Heat. You know what I'm saying? I love the Heat organization. Love the Harrison family. I'm an enormous Pat Riley guy. You'll never get me to go against Pat Riley. But that's not going to stop me from telling you when they do things that don't make any sense and they're dumb, like signing Whiteside, which I was totally against. I was completely against trading for Kyle Lowry. Very open about that. Okay? Very open. Very open about Dion Waiters. You know, I'll tell you when they do stupid shit. Okay? Because they do stupid shit. Just because they win, just because they've been the most successful and the best run organization for a quarter century in town, doesn't mean they're incapable of doing stupid shit. And the last 5 years, let's be honest now. It's Eric Spoelstra overachieving with an underachieving front office. That's all it is. An underachieving front office that has given away picks, that has made all kinds of bad deals, yet they've been able to find some players, and Spo has made the best out of a great situation. And I'll say what I said the day they traded for Jimmy Butler. This trade will not pay off if you cannot find another star. And they never found another star. And we continue to argue about Bam. I think I won that argument already. Bam isn't a star. Might be an all-star, but he's not a franchise player. You know, whatever. He's not the guy you need. He's not a number 2. He's not a 1 or a 2. He's a 3 on his best day. On his best day, he's a 3. Okay? Because he's never a person that can impose his offensive will, so you'll never be a 1 or a 2. Too passive. So you fucked up already as an organization. You never got the star next to Butler. Now, he can't even play in the regular season anymore. That's been proven the last 2 years. He refuses to play in the regular season because his body can no longer hold up. And they know it. They know it. And now he coasted again, and he got injured in the play-in, and the rest was history. So if you don't trade Butler with the opportunity to trade Butler, and if you got this for Mikal Bridges, you should be able to get that or more for Jimmy Butler. So I don't understand what's going on. Miami has zero motivations to keep Jimmy Butler unless you tell me you're acquiring another superstar. Because remember, you can't just acquire a star anymore for the Miami Heat. That's not enough. You must acquire a number 1 star, because Jimmy Butler has never been a number 1 star. He's a number 1 here because you don't have a 1 or a 2. So he has no choice. He has to be the end-all, be-all. So it is what it is. And to his credit, he's answered the bell. But in the real world, in the real pecking order, he's not better than Shaq, and he's not better than Wade, and he's not better than Bosh, and he's not better than LeBron, and he's not better than Zoe, and he's not better than Timmy. He's not those kind of guys. All those guys are better offensive players. But he has to kind of impose his will, and because he has the cojones, he can do it. But is he as dynamic as those people? No. No. So he's really a 2. We've seen 1s. We've had lots of 1s here. He's not one of those guys. He's a 2. On his best day, he's a 2. Like, he's borderline 2, the way I look at Butler. On a real star-studded team, he's a borderline 2. And now he's even worse because he's broken down. So if you don't trade Jimmy Butler now when you have a chance, hey, look, man, I'm a huge fan of the Dolphin front office. Huge fan. What's the one move I continually tell you that I disagree with? And this is not hindsight. Can you answer that question, Sean? What's the one move that I always say the front office failed in not making a few years ago? Do you remember what that is, Sean?
Yes, sir.
Which front on Dolphins or Heat?
Yeah, Dolphins. There's only one move that I have disagreed with them over the last few years. Which
they're not trading Xavier Howard.
Exactly. Thank you, sir. Okay. And this is a year in the making already. We're in year 2 now. I told you to trade Butler last year. This shit ain't hindsight, bro. I don't do hindsight. I do more foresight. So they're a year behind me in trading Butler. If you have a chance to trade Butler now and you don't do it, it's absolutely moronic. That guy's falling apart, dude. Are you kidding me? Humpty Dumpty's put better together than that guy. He can't play anymore. He can't even help you in the playoffs anymore. He can only get you to the play-in round. What kind of shit is that? Please explain that one to me. You got to trade his ass now. So if Philadelphia's offering it and willing to give the max, and by the way, what's it called? Pompey had reported that before then. He was on our show and he told us that the Sixers are willing to give him the max. It's up to the Heat now. Pat Riley, I'm a huge Pat Riley guy. You'll never hear me say get rid of Pat Riley. You'll never hear me say any of that. But I will say he has made a ton of mistakes the last 10 years. Put it this way. I'll go out on a limb and I'll tell you this. Okay? Either you trade Butler or you win nothing for the rest of time. How do you like them apples? You want to maybe the best is get to the playoffs? Okay, whatever. You want to win a championship again? Trade Jimmy Butler. Get the draft capital and rebuild this team and turn it around. Where you're at now, you don't have capital to get the star. You don't have the space. You just don't have the flexibility. There's no way you're going to be a championship team. No way. And you had all the luck you already you wasted all the lucky charms that there is in the world the last 4 years. You overachieved like you are the greatest franchise in town. At the moment you're not, but I mean in the last 25 years. At the moment the Panthers are the best franchise in town. And by the way, it's not even close anymore. Let's get that shit straight. The Panthers are light years ahead of the Heat now. Okay? The Heat are way behind. Problem is, there's too many of you in Heat Nation that you're freaking delusional about what's going on. And the problem is, Spo is so good. He makes everything better than what it is. This Heat organization is in a world of trouble because they're stuck in the middle and they're not going anywhere. And so they're not going to ever bottom out, but they have no shot at getting to the top how they currently are. So the best thing you do is trade Butler and get a whole ton of first-round picks. Reload, get the ammunition you need in order to go search for another star, a younger star, to then develop the first-round pick you're about to pick tonight and all the other guys that you already have. But if you hang on to Jimmy Butler, the only thing you're doing is setting your team back with a broken down star that can no longer help you out in the regular season because he can't hold up anymore.
And what are you going to do? Extend a broken down player? That's the dumbest thing in the world. The only thing dumber was trading for Kyle Lowry, dude. And that was catastrophically stupid. Catastrophically stupid. I love the Heat, but you're never going to get me to ease up on that shit. I said it then, and I'll keep saying it over and over and over again. What the hell were you thinking in trading for Kyle Lowry, dude? That's a fireable offense in my book. If it's not because you're Pat Riley, I would have been for sure. Anyone else, I would have said fire him. Fire him. But I'll never say that about Pat Riley. Because I made that mistake with Shula. I'm never doing that again. Never doing it again. Pat can, run his course. And if he's making mistakes, so be it. What he's brought us, I'd rather take my chances to see if he figures it out than I don't know what's next. Because look what's happened after Shula. Nothing. So now we're hoping, 30 years later, now we're hoping that it finally has turned the corner. You better trade Jimmy Butler. If you don't trade Jimmy Butler, the Heat are going nowhere. They're just going to be a middling team. If you're happy with middling, then hey man, knock yourselves out. But please don't tell me please don't tell me down in Miami that you're actually trying for championships, because I'll laugh at you. Because you got no shot at a championship. None whatsoever. Well, you expect more luck? Are we going to a bubble again? Please. Enough already with the bullshit. Let's go. Make the right moves. It's obvious Jimmy Butler has to go, dude. He is falling apart. So I hope I'm clear enough on that one. I think I've been clear enough for a while now on this one. So you fought me about trading X. You fought me about trading Jimmy Butler. And go ahead and fight me about extending Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill has to be his final year. Again, big fan of the front office. They made a mistake with X. You will make a mistake by extending Tyreek. I don't think they will. I think, if anything, they give him a little guarantees this year to shut him up and keep him happy. But it's dumb to extend them. You don't stay that talented at that age. Sorry. Father Time is undefeated, and Jimmy Butler's Father Time is already knocked on his door. So, Miami Heat, you got an awesome opportunity after you made the mistake of keeping Jimmy Butler for another year. Now you got the chance of a lifetime. Don't ruin it, because one more year of Jimmy Butler, doing bullshit in the regular season, and he'll be untradeable next year. And then you extended him or whatever, or you got to then put up with him for another year. You got a chance now to get the hell out. Get out, bro. Because that situation is only going to get worse. It's not going to get any better. We saw the best. We saw the great times with Jimmy Butler. You got to know when to say when. You got to know when to hold them and when to fold them. And you had to fold them with X 3 years ago, and you didn't fold them. You had to fold it with Jimmy Butler last year, and you didn't fold it. You're going to need to fold it with Tyreek Hill next year, or pay the price. So it's up to you. I've watched the Heat and I've watched the Dolphins already make this mistake once. Let's see what happens again. Will the Heat make the same mistake twice? And will the Dolphins make the same mistake with another player? We'll find out. We'll find out. Let's see what else. Cash the Jeweler. B-Rob, if he plays well against playoff teams and wins a playoff game, he'll get 50 plus million. We'll see. Guy Brown, Big O, I hope you are well. As a lifelong Dolphins and Sixers fan, I remember when the Sixers played poker with Barkley and lost. I do believe a deal gets done, but I have reason to feel skittish. Let's see. The fact that Tua didn't hold on when Waddle got paid is a red flag. Nah, I'll get into that now. What else do we have here? All right. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Robert Triana, thank you for the love on Venmo, sir. Thanks for being you. Hope to see you guys again soon. Rob from Naples, still going strong. 1 year and 10 months, alcohol-free. Good for you, man. Wow, that's impressive, my brother. Congratulations. Keep it up. Keep it up, my friend. That is fantastic. All right, let's get to it. So what's going on with Tua? What's going on with the contract situation with Tua Tagovailoa? Now we got a report from Jeff Darlington that they are not in the Golf and Trevor Lawrence area. And apparently they are offering him less money. Now, first of all, I want to remind you guys that you're talking about a front office that is shrewd in negotiating with X, shrewd in negotiating with Waddle, shrewd in negotiating with Austin Jackson, with Connor Williams. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. And just like I hear the silly shit of, well, Wilkins is the heart and soul of the defense. They're going to re-sign Christian Wilkins. I heard that too, right? Oh, no, you've got to re-sign Wilkins. Oh, but he's the heart and soul. They didn't re-sign him. What happened there? And so you hear the silly shit of, well, you don't want to piss the quarterback off. I'm sorry, did he win a bunch of Super Bowls or something for you? I'm a Tua guy, but I'm also objective. I compartmentalize my emotions. I know Tua can play. I know Tua will be a player. I know he's going to be a stud here, but he hasn't done it yet. So if you're the front office and apparently it looks like there's some trepidations, they're entitled to have that. Now, how about this, guys? The part that you guys have to also understand is, what leverage does Tua have? What's he going to do? Hold out? He's under contract, dude. He's going to pay $50,000 a day. It cannot be reversed. He's not going to do that. So he's clearly asking for probably more money than those guys. And the team probably doesn't want to go there. So as I thought, okay, they're signing everybody. They got to be close. Apparently they're not. Apparently I'm wrong here. Apparently they're not close. Because if we're at this point and Jeff Darlington is saying, you're not, okay, this part I'm going by what Jeff Darlington is saying, okay? I figured, oh, man, remember I told you guys for weeks now, this thing will get done. They got to be close. How are you signing everybody? You got to have a ballpark figure. You got to know something. Maybe you're just haggling over some of the, Now, if Darlington is reporting that, then I tell you, they're offering less. Now, here's the thing. Tua has no leverage here. He has dealt with injuries. He has not gotten over that hump, even though it's really a team game, but he gets that label anyway. So he's got to get over that hump and win the playoffs and all that kind of stuff, right? Even though it's a 45-year problem for the Dolphins. The Dolphins rarely ever win in the playoffs. They choke all the time in the playoffs, and they rarely even get to the playoffs. So, but, let's make it a Tua thing, but whatever. Okay? So you've had the injury stuff. You've had, you have the whole label of, okay, you got to get over the hump, right? All that kind of bullshit. And then you also, what are you going to do? Hold out and then take on the bad PR? I don't think you're going to do that either. He has no leverage. He has to play in order to get paid. He is under contract already for the 5th year. They can tag him over and over again. He has no leverage whatsoever. Pissed at what? How many of you go to work pissed? I know the last 2 years going to QAM, I was pissed. Pissed at what I was getting paid. Pissed at, lots of other things that was going on with that place. I wanted to get out of there. But I was locked into a damn contract. So I had to figure out a way out of it. And I did. But anyway, that's another story. So, I don't think he can hold out. I don't think he has any leverage whatsoever because he still has to. Oh, and here's the other thing. He has to then find a coach that is going to cater the offense to his skills because not every coach is like that. Some coaches may want a different kind of quarterback. You fired one that didn't even want him. So you're not going to find 31 coaches that want to coach him. And he knows that, and his agent knows that. So you got a coach that is catering the offense to your skill set. One of the things you see Jacksonville and Urban takes over and Trevor Lawrence is a disaster because you didn't give him any foundation. This happens all the time. If you don't give the quarterback what they need, they're going to flounder and fail. Kurt Warner goes to the Giants and he looks terrible. Kurt Warner in St. Louis and Arizona look fantastic. Steve Young in Tampa looked like a mess. Steve Young for the LA Express, for BYU, and for San Francisco was fantastic. Can happen to a lot of quarterbacks. You don't end up in the right system. You don't end up with the right coach. Your life becomes a living hell. Ask Archie Manning. When you're old, you have perspective. You get to see things. And you've seen things over and over again, and you see the difference, the good and the bad that goes on. So he has no leverage. He's under contract. Fines can't be reversed. So whether they think they're getting lowballed or the front office is being its shrewd self, it doesn't matter. In the end, he's going to have to come to camp, play, and play at his best, whether he likes it or he doesn't. And this whole thing about, well, you don't want to piss the quarterback off. Bro, plenty of people go to work pissed off. and they have to do the job. Plenty of people feel underpaid and they continue to do the job because it's the only job you have. And until you're able to find another job, you don't leave that one, no matter how pissed off you are. But in his case, he can't leave. He can't go nowhere. He has no leverage. So could it get a little uglier? Sure. Will it get resolved? It has to. He has no choice. He has to play one way or the other. He has to play. So it'll get done. All right, let's do it. Hour number 2, David Furones and our Welton Ra Miami Dolphins report.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Take a journey to our Caribbean paradise at Toyota of Hollywood. Get in the groove with great deals on over 2,000 Toyotas, like a Corolla, not $24,000, just $17,975. You'll be cruising and chilling with super low 2.99% financing. Feel the rhythms of the Caribbean today at Toyota of Hollywood on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Ra is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Ra, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Ra can help. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyAccess.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
All rise, football fans, as the Welton Ra Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welton Ra has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
All right. How you doing, my man? You doing good?
Doing well. I'm still buzzing from being at a Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final, watching the Panthers win that. So South Florida, a sports history witness there. So that was cool to see.
Yeah, man, definitely. Are you covering the parade too on Sunday?
No, I'm actually. I mean, they took too long. Well, first dragging it out to get to a Game 7, and then making it Sunday. I'm actually flying out of town on Saturday. So yeah, I won't be down here for it. I got to take vacation at some point.
In other words, you win.
Oh yeah, right. Because I mean, yeah, when you see the float come by one time with the players, and it's so much easier to just watch it on TV. And
dude, yeah,
you get all the coverage of it.
I want no part of that. I miss none of that. Plus, you know what a mess it's going to be to get in and out of that area. Oh shit, dude. Oh my God, that's going to be a mess because you can only get there by a couple bridges. So, parking and dude, that's just, oh man, no. I want no part of that. I'll watch it on television and you guys go knock yourselves out. But yeah. Ugh, boy.
Yeah.
I still remember chasing the UM cars back in the day, when they had their little parade, they would have their whole thing at City Hall, and then they had, or not City Hall, by the steps of the courthouse, they would talk, and then they'd have the car parade downtown and all that. And I still remember having to chase those guys around, and the Marlins too. I remember in '97 chasing those guys around too. That was, oh God. I definitely don't look. I definitely don't miss covering parades. And one on the Fort Lauderdale Strip. Oh God, that's going to be a mess to get in and out. Man, you got to get there early, dude. Early.
Yeah, every parade I could think of, every South Florida championship, I've actually watched on TV. Except I did attend the 06 Heat one. It was a lot easier. Just summer. I was still in high school, so it was just easier to get out to that. But then after that, I went
to that one.
12 and 13 Heat. I was an adult, and then I remember being in school for the Marlins ones. So yeah.
Though I went to the Marlins one also.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. I went to the Heat one in 06. I went to the Marlins in 03. In fact, the Marlins had multiple ones, if I remember correctly. They had one in Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, which I thought was very smart on their part to try to endear their team to everybody. I the Panthers should do that, but they did it all Broward. I think they should have done a Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach, parade, but whatever, Hey, listen, the pots and pans were out in Miami. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and like I said yesterday, see, we teach people how to really do a parade and celebrate. We don't burn our own neighborhoods down. We're not turning over police cars and shit, and we don't do any of that. By the way, even when my Cubans protest, brother, we just go to Versailles, we stand around 8th Street, we stand around the Freedom Tower there, and then we leave. That's it. We're not, so I gotta say, protesting and championship celebrations, we are, the quintessential example of how to do it and do it right, like decent human beings.
Hey, and I was proud of our Hispanic communities locally, because Cuban for us, and like my area is Southwest Miami-Dade, Westchester, like Bird Road, La Carreta, right there. They have the cameras there, like they do for back when the Marlins won, and I remember it being a lot of people out there, and the Heat titles, even Heat winning Eastern Conference last year, people went out there. So I was glad. I didn't know how much hockey would resonate with like the Hispanic communities in Miami and Hialeah too. I know people were out there, so good to see that.
Los Angeles, how you guys act like scumbags, learn to act like with class, like we do down here. Class, baby, class with championship. We're not burning anything down, okay? We're not assaulting people. Just in case, learn how to celebrate a championship. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it was just good to see the numbers of people going out and happy to watch the Panthers win. A lot of people who might be new hockey fans, because we know as of not too long ago, the Panthers didn't have, maybe call it like 10 years ago or so, I'm sure the diehard Panthers fans remember sitting in that arena and being outnumbered by Montreal Canadiens fans, or name your team, whoever. Watching them.
Rangers.
Yeah, all those. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Detroit
Yeah.
would come down, and you'd see all the Detroit sweaters out and shit. Yeah, dude, that's how it used to be a lot. Now it's changing because they stuck with it, and they have changed the culture. They tore a page from the Heat. The Heat stayed truly committed to winning and putting together the best product year in and year out. And they ended up building up their fan base and building up the trust. And that's why winning was so important, bro. Because if they lose, it just becomes like, oh, same old Panthers. Oh, it doesn't matter what kind of success. That's the label the Dolphins have now. Nobody trusts the Dolphins. No matter what they do not trust the Dolphins. So until the Dolphins start having like real success in the playoffs, people will just think they're the same old Dolphins for 25, 30 years. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you can't take them. And even if they make the playoffs, they'll lose anyway. That's what the Panthers were headed for. And by winning, that's it, bro. It's over. Now they got a chance to build what the Heat has now.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to build that because you can't just go off of the 2 Super Bowls won in the 70s because that doesn't resonate with people now. And it's what you've done for me lately, the last 2 decades for the Dolphins.
You can't live off of 97 and 03 that in 6
and the
years.
Marlins too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then after that, what happens? And then the town sees that, yeah, dude, that was flukish. There was those 2 years, 97 wasn't flukish because that team was loaded. But 03 was a really young team that, my God, the stars aligned for you. You won. And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's over. You never tried again, and they see it. Now with the Panthers, the trust factor is there. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy.
That second Marlins team was off the rebuild from the first one because you had some pieces like Luis Castillo, who was younger, and they brought him up, and like Derek Lee, Mike Lowell, and But then Pudge comes in. You got Buster Wilson,
Pudge, Pierre, Urbina, and Redmond. They added.
Yeah. Juan Pierre was because it was Preston Wilson all the years before that as a center fielder. So I think it was a trade with the Rockies, right? So then Juan Pierre, you get your double lead off. You add Pudge, which was like the really big missing piece with the rotation that they already had. Miguel Cabrera comes in as a 20-year-old rookie that year. So Juan Encarnacion was one piece I remember also because
they also added that one. Yeah.
But Conine coming back. Conine coming back.
But Cabrera, Lowe, Gonzalez, Castillo, all those guys were all Dombrowski guys from the fire sale trade. He left the base of the 2003 championship there. All you had to do was add a couple of pieces, and that's it. That's what they did. But basically, it was Dombrowski that built the 03 team again.
Right.
Which is just amazing, dude. You know what I'm saying? Dombrowski is the greatest GM of my existence. Period. Because he built the Montreal Expos, and we should have had a 94 World Series with the Expos and the Yankees, but then we had the strike and all that. And then that team was busted up, and it helped all kinds of other teams like the Yankees win. And then he goes and he helps build the Marlins, and he builds Detroit, and now he's with the Red Sox. I don't think I've ever seen a guy like that. You know what I mean? Obviously, Theo did an amazing thing by getting the Red Sox and the Cubs to win, but Dombrowski has had success wherever he goes, dude. And he could have won in '94 with that Expos team. That would have been one of the best World Series of all time.
Yeah,
in those Yankees in '94, those two teams were loaded, bro. Loaded, man, loaded. So crazy shit. All right, let's get to it. All right, bro. So I thought, and I know you agreed with some of this, that they're making all these moves. Oh, they got to have parameters of what's going on, right? Well, apparently. They might not be in the same neighborhood, according to Jeff Darlington. It looks like Miami is not in the ballpark of Lawrence or Goff? What do you think about that?
Yeah, that maybe that is another example, as you've mentioned, of Chris Greer taking a hard stance and saying, okay, well, everyone else's market is not our market, and how we're going to look at these negotiations. And even with the quarterback position, quarterback not excluded from that. So, but we felt that, okay, probably they're getting really close, but that might be telling them maybe not so. And when Tua was saying that market is the market, that's what he was kind of hinting at, that they're not offering me this what others are looking for. So possibly it is an issue right now at this deep stage in negotiations, where now we're a month away from training camp, and if it doesn't get done in this month, which I still think I would still have as the betting favorite that the Dolphins and Tua get a deal done before training camp and everything's okay. But if this continues to just trickle into the following month and into training camp, then that could be an issue if he wants to do the same thing and not participate in an 11-on-11 like he didn't do at mini camp and OTAs. So you want to get the deal done. You don't want an unhappy quarterback. But at the same time, the organization wants to act prudent with its funds and decide that, okay, if the Jaguars want to pay Trevor Lawrence $55 million and the Lions want to pay Jared Goff $53 million, that doesn't mean we have to pay you to those same figures. So it's going to be a tough situation coming down to it, but hopefully the two sides are able to strike a deal.
Do you think? Because I don't believe he holds out at all. And see, here's my problem with all of this. I think this is what's happening now, is that the Dolphins know they have all the control. In a way, Tua has no control here, because he has to prove that he can stay healthy. Again, he has to prove that he has to win in order to get paid, and he's under contract. So he's definitely not going to hold out, because you can't reverse the fines. That's $50,000 a day. So you're not going to do that. And if you hold in, okay, so then you're not honing your skills. And if you're not honing your skills and you're not sharp out there, then you won't be able to command the contract you want the following season if you don't get the contract you want this season. So in a way, I don't know. And then here's the other thing too. What's he going to do? Go out in public and say, well, no, I deserve more money than Lawrence and Jared Goff. And then people are going to say, well, wait a minute, dude, you haven't won a playoff game. You haven't stayed healthy. Those guys have stayed healthy. Those guys have even won a playoff game, yada, yada, yada. And so it won't be a good look for him if he's trying to hold out for more money. I don't know where he has leverage here. I really don't. And if he's pissed, because, I've heard that too. Well, you don't want to piss off the quarterback. Yeah, and what? How many people go to work pissed all the time that they're not getting paid enough? And they still have to go do the job, overall. So what I'm trying to ask you is, where's Tua's leverage?
Yeah, well, Tua doesn't have the leverage now at this point because of the 2 years that then following this fifth-year option year that the Dolphins have under team control, where they could put him on the franchise tag. So, but leverage standpoint, yeah, it's on the Dolphins, and then that would really be a situation where Tua wants his contract extension now, and then he starts looking at, boy, it's not just this year, but they could put me on less money than I'm hoping for the year after and the year after that. Then I could definitely see how Tua then gets pretty unhappy over that.
The only way you battle that is by being on the field, winning, getting into the playoffs, winning, and then turning to them, all right, mother effer, now give me my goddamn money. But right now, we're all, look, I'm a Tua guy. I believe in Tua. I think he's going to be a baller. I have no problem with that. But because he hasn't done it, and watching what these guys do in the front office, they don't bend over backwards for anybody, dude. They if they give you money, it's because you're proven already, and so some of the guys they've acquired have been already proven. But if you're still up and coming, that Austin Jackson looked really good, but they didn't go overboard to pay him. They gave him a reasonable contract. Over Connor Williams wanted a bunch of money, and they said, "No, dude, sorry, no, we're not doing that." And they held strong, and that's their center, and they held strong. That's a really important position, and they held strong. And by the way, it ended up paying off because unfortunately the guy ended up getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? So they have been shrewd in all of their negotiations, no matter who it is. I'm not surprised here that they have some leverage. Might as well use it at the moment because maybe they themselves have some questions, or they also just don't feel like paying that kind of money.
Yeah,
right now.
They won't shell out the cash unless you're proven, and also you have something considerable left in the tank too, because they'll also try to move off of guys before they had that dip in production as well. So kind of like it has to be the perfect marriage, that perfect timing for it all to happen. And obviously at the quarterback position, if we're talking Tua specifically, then it's not like he's anywhere near having to tail off in production because of his age. He obviously has a long time in that regard. But just to give people an idea of how the Dolphins management thinks. And you're right, it doesn't benefit either side for there to be a hold in for Tua to miss time with the team, because then at that point he's got to focus on what's best for him and the team, and is to get onto this accord, get to working with Odell Beckham Jr., who's new here, Jonnu Smith, who's new with the Dolphins, and continue with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and work any tweaks into Mike McDaniel's offense.
All the slot guys. He's got a whole shitload of new slot guys that he's got to. Besides Craycraft, all those other guys he's got to get to know too.
Got to take snaps from Aaron Brewer, who's going to be his new center. We just mentioned Connor Williams on his way out. So a lot of chemistry to be built for Tua. So, and I think he would understand that. Because we always talk about how much of a team guy he is as well. And granted, he's going to want his money too. So it's not like, okay, he'll draw the line when it comes to the money. But I think you'll have to understand, yes, you do need these 11-on-11 team reps when it comes to training camp, and to get that experience with players before the season, so that then you could put your best performance forward in the 2024 season. And I understand for him too, is he finally has a full season healthy, so then he wants to get his money now, obviously in case he does revert back to having an injury and missing time next year. Now all of a sudden you're not as hot as you were before. Now you cool off a little bit when it comes to these negotiations because of what has happened most recently. So you want to get your money when your stock is sort of highest. You've had a full season healthy, which was the big question mark, and you still produced at a high level like you also did in 2022, his third season, first one under McDaniel. So, but it's telling with these Dolphins how they negotiate. And the interesting part that I've always found in all this is how you have built up Tua in these last 2 years to build up his confidence and tell him everything he wants and needs to hear. And then now when it comes to the negotiating table, you sort of have to reveal your true thoughts into, okay, so I mean, we feel you're all this, but we don't feel you're that level because we can't pay you all that much money right now. So that's kind of like when you have to reveal, you have to show your cards and tell it how you really feel and why you're not going to make him the highest paid quarterback ever because of X, Y, and Z that are some negatives in his game that you kind of maybe haven't been telling him all this time as you've built up his confidence to get him to play at a high level the last 2 years. So that's an interesting part of it.
Yep. No, I'm with you, man. By the way, Welton Ra, folks, we are in hurricane season, storm season, because it really doesn't have to be a hurricane nowadays. Could be a rainstorm. Be prepared. Save this number just in case. If you have any kind of damage, don't call the insurance companies. They're not going to look out for your best interest. call Welton Ra. They have their own adjusters, and then they'll handle the insurance company. You'll never have to deal with the insurance company, which is a pain in the ass. They'll do that, and they'll bring them to their knees. Small accounts, major accounts, it doesn't matter. 954-966-4646. Bankruptcy, condo damage, criminal defense, homeowner, property damage, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. Call Welt and Raum. All right. So the Tua thing, what is the next? What do you think is the next step here? Because if it looks like there's kind of an impasse right now, does this last into training camp to start? Because we're a few weeks away from players reporting to training camp. Rookies report what, the 18th or something like that, the middle of the month. So
16th, yeah, 23rd for veterans.
Yeah. So where does this thing go? What does your gut tell you? Do they? Because I'm starting to think there will be no deal by training camp.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I feel we still have this month here. Now we are within a month, so I feel like it's got to get done right before. It might even be like I remember last offseason. I think it was the Justin Herbert deal. It got done right before training camp over there because I remember asking Tua about it from seeing that number. So when we talked to Tua that first training camp day when the Dolphins reported back last year, that first practice. So I think it might be something like that where, sort of like in that last week, maybe it happens then. Where right now it doesn't seem like it's too hot to happen, but let cooler heads prevail over a couple weeks, and then maybe just right before training camp, that's sort of when the two sides really get serious on meeting the other one's expectations, and maybe that's when you see some give from hopefully both sides, and they just kind of are able to reach a compromise.
Okay, so wait a minute. So here's what so this is what I'm trying to read into all of this, okay? Because at first I thought, okay, they might be kind of close or somewhere in the neighborhood because, dude, they're agreeing on all these deals. So they must be, and they didn't even go to X for any money or anything like that, and yet they've done everything they needed to do, and they're ready to sign to their number. But here's the thing. If they had so much conviction on signing everybody else, then they've got conviction on where they stand for the money.
Right.
Because they can't necessarily go overboard because they may not have that kind of space, and then they have to go out and create the space. Although I'm thinking it's not just the X space. I think they can recreate the fifth-year option, that fifth year. I think they can redo that number too and create more space out of that also, because they can lower the number for this coming season by, yes, adjusting. So they can do that too. So there's some money they can play with, at the same time. But it also tells me that by them doing all of this stuff around Tua, that they have some conviction on they're not really going to go as high as whatever they think they deserve.
Right, because it's all part of a plan, right? It's all got to fit into it's these puzzle pieces that are fitting into the bigger equation. So, you've given out money elsewhere based on what you feel you should be paying, and maybe give or take a little bit. But if it's a considerable difference between what their expectation is and what Tua's and his representation's expectation is, then that's problematic. Because then it causes you to really shift how much you can allot to other positions that you value and maybe have already committed funds to in the future. So that's a key part of it. And it can't be too far off, because I think the Dolphins have to have known what the market would be for the quarterback this offseason based on the jump in salary cap, which was already put out there, before, or sort of at the beginning of this offseason as negotiations were still kind of fresh. So, they had to have an idea and been in the ballpark. But now when the Dolphins see that the Lions gave Jared Goff the 53 per and Trevor Lawrence got 55 per from the Jaguars, that might boost it up a little bit and say, okay, we weren't expecting it to go that much for those guys. And now obviously Tua is going to feel the way he feels, and the Dolphins then they have to either stick their courage to the post and remain strong, or they will have to meet Tua to some degree.
Yeah, I think they're going to stay pretty strong. Here's where I was wrong, where I thought they kind of would be a little bit more flexible because it's the quarterback.
Yeah,
I think we're now learning. I don't think this front office gives a shit who you are. They're going to have a hard line stance, and they're going to negotiate whatever they feel is right for whatever player it is. And if you're Jalen Ramsey, okay, yeah, they're going to bend over backwards for you. But if you don't have that kind of resume, they're not going to. You got to first get that resume before they bend over backwards. So to me, this is something that I underestimated. That and we should have seen it coming because he has taken hardline stances with several players already, as it is. So it's just kind of odd, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like, wow, I think this one's it's going to get a little ugly, for Tua, that is. I don't think they're flinching on that side. I really don't. I don't think they're going to be moving that much, overall.
Yeah. And then it becomes interesting. How hard of a stance are you willing to take? Do you risk, okay, well, we've spent these last years building up Tua in this offense, and then saying, okay, well, we are willing to back off if that's what it's going to cost. Do you then decide, feel that you can move off of him and go to another quarterback in years to come? Or do you want to have the quarterback that you've had these last, and now it'll be a third season in the offense, and not many quarterbacks can run this specific offense this well. Tua and Mike McDaniel have a good chemistry going together, and the receivers, and it's a lot for that any piece in this offense has to learn. So, well, would you want to go and insert a new quarterback? Would it be, whether it be a veteran like down the line, like a Jimmy Garoppolo who could run the same offense, but the options might be limited. So then are you really willing to go that route, or would you just prefer, hey, we've got Tua, he's still young, make him the franchise quarterback because he can run this system, and that he would put us in the best position to succeed in the future? That's what the Dolphins will have to be deciding, and how hard of a stance they do want to take when it comes to this.
By the way, just so you'll know, Mike McDaniel has a game strategist.
Oh, okay. We did some investigation here.
Yes. He had one.
Mm-hmm.
He had one last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it does exist. He does have a game strategist. Not that it helped, but yeah. I heard that I was told that that area even expanded this offseason. So it's not just one person.
This offseason, meaning now coming off of last year? Okay, so yeah. So now he's getting more help coming into the 24 season.
There's more than one dude now, from what I'm told.
Yeah. That's right. I mean, there were things that I wanted to get into questions and OTAs and minicamp that I forgot of, and then that was definitely one of them. Now that you just mentioned it.
Yeah. Well, I did my own, but he does. He had a game strategist last year.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I'm sure he has somebody up there with the review. That didn't help either.
Yeah.
So
everyone needs one of those. Huh?
Yeah, but you need a good one. Theirs suck. Sorry, I don't know who it is that does it for them. I don't know who's the person in the booth reviewing, but that person is terrible, bro, because they get that shit wrong most of the time. And so, yeah, I found out he does have a game strategist.
Yeah, the guy Brian Flores had was really solid in that role. Who I know left once the coaching change did happen.
Yes, but yeah, they do. He does have one. So it is what it is. But anyway, what do you got going on in the Sentinel, my man?
Yeah. I was I wrote about Tua and the Darlington report. So the latest update. So that's up, and I'll decide on something else to write this week before I take a little break. So it might be some O-line stuff from Butch Berry because we had a lot of good stuff come from him in our conversation with him before minicamp was over. So sort of assessing where the line is, Patrick Paul is, where the guard stands. So maybe some of that I'll get into before taking a little break from writing.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones _ and catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. Have a terrific week. We'll catch up on Friday.
Yes, sir. Sounds good.
Thank you, sir. There you go, David Furones. And call my friends at Welton Ra, Jeff Welt, Daniel Ra. They are just absolutely amazing. 954-966-4646. And if you're one of those Floridians dealing with water damage and dealing with a slacking ass insurance company, sick the bulldogs that are Welton Ra. These guys are pit bulls. Okay, they're just going to go after it, brother. I mean, seriously. 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welton Ra Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Ra, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Ra can help.
By the way, Craig Zinn's Acura Pembroke Pines, a proud sponsor of our program. They are electrified right now. They are celebrating their 16th anniversary, and they're electrified because the ZDX is in. It gets over 300 miles to the full charge. Go check it out. Go take a spin. That thing hauls ass. It's quiet. It's powerful. It looks beautiful. Man, it is really, really nice. You got to check it out. Seriously, you got to check out the Acura ZDX. Tell them that Big O sent you. 16th anniversary. They got 3.9% financing going on right now for 60 months. You can get the Integra for $319, the RDX for $419. Obviously, 2024 models. Go check out the full line, all the inventory, and they've got certified pre-owned vehicles, and they've got a service center second to none. Mike Chan and Jordan Ferber there to help you out at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. All right. Remember, you can make a donation, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show, Cash App or Venmo. And, of course, you can make a Bitcoin donation, which we always love. The Bitcoin donations, and I think Bitcoin is still hovering. Yes, it's at 61,226. Actually, it did hit 62 yesterday, but it went back down. All right. So we'll see what happens with Tua. But I gotta say, I didn't anticipate this. I did not anticipate a hardline stance with the quarterback. But this is who he's been with everybody else. So that's got me by surprise, But then again, maybe it's not a hardline stance. It's a fair stance. And see, the thing is, Tua and his agent aren't going to go out there publicly and campaign that they deserve more money than Goff and Lawrence. That would be a bad look for them. I just don't see where the leverage is for Tua right now. I don't. And I'm a Tua guy, but I have to look at it objectively and say, hey, man, when you're, like I told you, I thought they were in the neighborhood, right? You're doing all these moves. I'm like, okay, they got to be close. And look what happens. This is not, they cannot be. There has got to be a serious disagreement right now between them. On something. It's got to be some kind of the signing bonus, some kind of guarantees. They are off on something. And then Darlington saying you're not in the ballpark of Lawrence and Goff. So then there's a big divide here. It's not a small one. It's not what I was thinking. that, oh, they're close. No, dude, they're not close. No. This is not close. They clearly are asking for a lot more. And if, according to Darlington, they don't even look at him and want to, well, they don't want to take the risk of paying him more than Goff or Lawrence. So they're under those guys. So if you want to get over, well, then you're going to have to play that 5th year and you're going to have to go and ball out. So, I think negotiations like this say, well, we're sacrificing. Well, we sacrificed too. We drafted him coming off a hip injury. Everybody's got to make sacrifices. So Tua's got to come back next year and ball out, and then we'll give him that contract better than Goff. And clearly the Dolphins are willing to pay him more money than Goff and Lawrence, but he has to go out and prove it. So those of you that wanted him to play on the 5th year deal, I think you might get I think you're going to get your wish. I didn't think that would happen because it's the quarterback. But this is how we learn about Chris Greer and Marvin Allen and Reggie McKenzie now. These are all these moments we're learning. The low-hanging fruit stuff that they take advantage of, the Austin Jackson moments, that kind of stuff. But we've also learned that they are not just going to bend over backwards and give you the money until you're proven. And technically, as much as I love Tua, as much as I think he's going to be a stud, you can't go by what I think he's going to be. You can't go by what the agent thinks he's going to be. You have to go by what you see. And so far, you have to go by what you're doing right now with him. And you have to say, okay, no, we need a little bit more before we go to that extreme. Whatever the Jags want to do and whatever Detroit wants to do, that's up to them. That's not us. That's where I underestimated this situation. But the good thing is I don't think he has any leverage. So that's where the Dolphins, I think, have him by the balls. Because in order for him to get leverage, he still has to play. Shang Tusheng, you see front office extending everything around Tua, but not Tua. Can you read the writing on the wall? No, there's no writing on the wall. It's just the writing is they're shrewd with everybody. I think the guarantee money is the sticking point with Tua's extension. It has to be. So the leverage is enjoy Mike White in 2025 because I want to be traded at season's end. Lamar caused a stink, and the Ravens threw away a season. I don't think that'll happen. Again, Alf, you have to find the team that is going to cater to everything that you need. And you're going to have to run his offense. I don't know how many offensive coordinators and general managers are going to do that. That's going to be limited. And then the Dolphins have all the leverage. So if you want to trade for him, you're also going to have to give him compensation. I don't see any leverage for him at all. At all. He has to play this year in order to prove it. And then he can get tagged and he won't go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. And the Ravens, the Ravens are dumb, basically. But they're married to that style of offense. And they doubled down now with Derrick Henry because they're going back to more of a running offense. They tried to be more of a passing offense, but they realized that's not the quarterback they have. So now the quarterback lost weight so he can be faster. And now that you brought Derrick Henry. So they're going back to running. and they're married to that offense. Even though you can't win with a 2-point offense in the NBA, you're not going to win with a 2-point offense in the NFL either. So yeah, no, I don't understand the Ravens and what they did, but if they want to be crazy and get married to that, that's fine. Now on the flip side for the Dolphins, there's only going to be a couple teams that might be even willing to do this. At this point, you're not going to find a lot of teams that are going to give you a ton of capital and give him the contract. I just don't see in order for him to get the leverage, the one thing that you do, Alf, where I might give you some love on this is if he comes back this year and he throws 40 touchdowns and he wins a couple playoff games and all that kind of shit, then he has the leverage. But that's how he gets the leverage. He has to go and ball out and play where it's undeniable. That's how he gains the leverage. And then he can create stink, but even then they can make up, kiss and make up, and Mike McDaniel will give them all the stuff, and then they'll give them the money and everything will be all right. Many times over, the stuff that gets ugly gets worked out with money, So I'm not going to overreact too much on this. And again, at this point, I don't think there's a damn thing to panic about. Because again, I don't think he has any leverage whatsoever. All right, let's get to it. The one and only Manny Navarro and our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes report.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. If you're a Miami sports fan, there's only one store to go to, and that's Canes Wear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Canes Wear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
Right. How you feeling, baby? You feeling good?
Recovering. I got back from New York last week, and on Sunday I started to feel sick, have an upper respiratory infection, brother. So I'm coming back. I don't have COVID, don't have the flu, but fighting my way through it.
Did you eat a Dairy Queen hot dog?
No, I did not eat a Dairy Queen hot dog, but I was in stinky New York City, which is probably not good for anyone's health.
Okay, no, because I know what a Dairy Queen hot dog did to me, so I'm just saying. I'm just, it's just one of those things. So I kind of get it. All right. Recruiting trail. Let's get to it. What's going on recruiting NIL-wise here with the Canes?
Well, they have 11 commitments, and they picked up a few of them last week. They got busy on the trail, picked up a pledge from Amari Wallace, who's one of the local DBs from Miami Central, a good player. They picked up his teammate, a linebacker, Ezekiel Marcelin, who's a 3-star kid. So they're doing well at Miami Central, which is what you would expect the program to do, right? Get some of the best players from one of the best programs consistently. But they're sitting in the 30s right now, and I've got to say, it's what I kind of predicted would happen. Recruits are not jumping on the board. The big time guys that they've been looking at and trying to get pledges from, because they want to see results, right? This is year 3 for Mario. And I think while people are getting a little antsy with the recruiting rankings, I tell them, hey, if Miami goes and takes care of business this year, they beat Florida on August 31st, and they have a great season like people expect them to because they've got Cam Ward at quarterback, then these guys are going to see it's the real deal. But if they go out and they go and win 7 or 8 games, lose to Florida, and it's a rough season, then you're going to see the results in recruiting. And I think it's just one hand always sort of washes the other when it comes to this.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. And so out of what they're getting is, so if they're 30th, then we're talking about a lot of turnover during the season, because if you have a good season, if you have a great season and you are having all that success, they're going to try to search for other players that they want over these guys, right?
That's what happens, bro. I mean, and it's the sad reality of it, but yes, that's what happens. I mean, you basically have a pecking order, right? It's like a draft board. And the difference is that you don't have to draft anybody, right? You're not using picks here. What it is you have a pecking order, and you say, okay, if we can get this guy, if this guy's really going to sign with us, then we're going to drop this guy who we have 5th or 6th on our list. But it's the game of recruiting, and it's just the way that it is now. Obviously, NIL plays a factor in all of it. You got to have money to pay these kids now. Pretty soon, we're probably going to have a salary cap in some way, shape, or form in college football. And you got to make the money work. But I think ultimately they're in it. You know, the fact that these kids are visiting Miami is a big deal. If you didn't get these guys on campus at all, right, which was the case sometimes in the past with previous coaching regimes, then I'd say, you expect a bad class. But the fact that these kids come and visit and they're interested and they're watching what Miami is doing, it's really all you can do at this point. You're not Ohio State, you're not Texas, you're not Alabama, you're not Georgia. You haven't won anything in 20 years. Yeah. So what are you selling other than dreams?
Yeah, and if he has a terrible season, then the guys that are committed start dropping like flies too, and then you're oh, Jesus Christ.
It's the way the game is played now, man. But look, kudos to Mario. He did his job the first 2 years. He flipped this roster. Mm-hmm. It is 100% his roster now, and he's just got to go out and win. Prove it. Prove that you can coach on Saturday and win games.
Yeah, give me better results. Yeah,
give me better results. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right, so the Panthers won the championship. Yeah, man, and now the parade comes on Sunday, and something I don't miss covering. God, I don't miss any of that shit. By the way, I gotta say, I'm kind of happy doing what I've been doing the last 4 years. I hope I can keep it going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I certainly don't miss that stuff. But man, I was talking about, some of the parades that I've covered in the past, and I still remember covering a Canes parade back in the day downtown Miami, where I think they spoke at the courthouse, right? And then started going on the cars or something like that. Is that how it went?
Listen, it was many, many decades ago. And I mean, the Orange Bowl was still standing back then. So yeah. I mean, it was a totally different. I mean, I can't even picture Miami like that anymore. Now I'm trying to close my eyes and think about that.
It's correct, right? We did it in downtown Miami by the courthouse steps, and then the whole thing went downtown, right? Is that down Flagler? I think it was, right? Is that what it was, or
that's my recollection of it? Yes.
Yeah, I think that's because I remember that one and the Marlins, where I'm not the 97, not the 03, where I'm like running, chasing each of these cars and trying to talk to the players and all that kind of stuff. And that is that one of the more pain in the ass events to cover as a writer?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. I covered the ones with the Heat, and including the one with Shaq in 06 and the ones afterward. And those were easy to do because they always ended up back at the arena.
Right.
So and you ended up,
the Heat is organized like a mofo, dude.
Yes.
Like they're at another level than everybody else, bro. They think things through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Except for the media room with that goddamn buzz.
Yeah.
That's the thing they didn't figure out. That's the only thing they just like, hey, why don't we put the media room right next to a fucking generator so we can do it? Yeah, let's do it. It's a great idea. I don't know who thought about that one, but that was that was not good. That's the only thing that they failed in. But everything else, you're right. I remember because I remember the first one, I did a little bit of that, and they all ended up there. But yeah, dude, that was. Do
you remember the Dolphins one?
No.
I wasn't around for that, so I don't. Yeah.
Well, hold on a second. Now, what I do remember is in the 80s when we did make the Super Bowl. We hit it on 8th Street, bro.
Yes.
We were hugging and all.
I was down there.
Well, no pots and pans. We didn't whip out the pots and pans at that time, but we were honking and having fun pre-Super Bowl. I remember that. Okay.
What would this town be like with a Dolphins Super Bowl championship, man? Can you imagine the insanity?
It would go. People would be off work. It would be an absolute insanity if the Dolphins ever won the Super Bowl in this town. Yes.
That's how I try to explain to my friends. I'm like, you guys don't understand. Like, the Heat stuff was awesome. It was cool to have LeBron here and to have the rock stars and all that.
Canes football.
It was awesome. But if the Dolphins win the Super Bowl, man, this town is just gonna melt. It's gonna melt down because it's just the pandemonium is gonna be another level.
I remember one year in one of the Canes championships, a linebacker by the name of Derek Golden. He spoke at the podium. Like, that guy never played, but he was a talker. And he got everybody pumped up, and everybody's like, wow, who is this guy? You know, it's like, and Derek, and I still remember the name to this day. And it was like a guy that, like, he was like the 6th or 7th linebacker on the goddamn team, but he was kind of like a glue guy in practice and that kind of stuff, and loved by the players, by his teammates and all that. And he was a character. And I remember him addressing fans, and it was kind of a trip, man. But yeah, that is one thing that I'm thinking about this Sunday, and I feel bad for my media brethren that have to cover that, because, my God, talk about a nightmare Sunday. That's a nightmare. You can only get in there by bridges, and only to get. Oh my God, the Strip. Oh, that's not a good place.
I wish I would have done this, but I should have followed the Cup on Monday and just followed the guys to the elbow room, down to the beaches. Like, all of that footage was so awesome to see them jumping in the ocean with the trophy. That was awesome stuff, man.
That was that's pretty good shit, man. All right, what do you got going on in the athletics so folks can check you out?
Yeah, I just did a podcast, the Until Saturday podcast, which is our main one. I did that with Ari Wasserman and my editor, Mitch Light. We recorded that Monday, came out yesterday, and just talking about recruiting, all the big storylines nationally, who's doing well, who's not. I'm going to have a recruiting column, my thoughts on the whole cycle, what's happened so far to this point nationally, sort of a national perspective. That'll be coming out tomorrow, and there'll be more stuff to read. I mean, it's kind of the wait and see period, because now we enter the dead period in recruiting for the next month up until July 24th. And then it's all the media days, which I will be going to Charlotte. I'll be in Charlotte for 5 days, for all 4 days of the ACC media kickoff event. So I'll be talking to all the coaches, all the teams, all the players. So I'll be down there working my butt off. We'll have people at the SEC media days. We'll have people at Big 10 and Big 12. So we'll be spread out. The Athletic will be there. But this is sort of that slow period now, because recruiting has slowed down and guys are just making commitments. And that's kind of what happens over the next month.
There you go. Can't wait, for that hardest breakfast when you're up there in Carolina.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, same thing every morning. All right, brother.
All right, man. Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro and subscribe to The Athletic. Manny, as always, thank you, my brother. We'll catch up on Friday.
All right, brother. Take care.
Thank you, sir. There you go. And don't forget Caneswear. Bro, Panthers have won. You got all your championship gear. You can go online at caneswear.com. Use our code BIGO10. So you will get 10% off your championship gear. That's pretty good. You get 10% off already, man. So take advantage, folks. Take advantage. All right. And go to caneswear.com. And if you order over $99, you will get free shipping at caneswear.com.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
All right. Hour number 3 of the program begins. True Fin Fan, thank you for the love on the super chat. Remember, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Do you agree with not paying Tua golf money? it's weird, right? Because I didn't think they would take a hard line stance completely with the quarterback because it's the QB. I'm a pro front office guy and I'm a pro Tua guy. And so I'm kind of torn with all. I thought they were close on this. They were signing everybody, and I read that wrong. Wasn't that I had any insight, but I'm telling you now, I got to say that I'm going to trust these guys because I do believe that they do have the control. It's not a matter of not paying Tua. It's a matter of not overcommitting to any player, Wilkins, Connor, or Tua. It doesn't matter. If there's a question mark about something, they will not fully commit. And so whether it's an injury thing or whatever, they obviously have some kind of a doubt. You know, they like him, but not to go overboard and overpay because they've got to build the rest of the team. And that's kind of what they're doing. And so I think they're taking the stance of, yo, dude, we're not going to give you a crazy contract because then that puts us in a bind to build around you. So we're trying to give you a fair and a reasonable contract so we can build around you. And I'm going to have to agree with the front office on this. Because one, I really feel like Tua has little to no leverage. He's not going to hold out. He can't stop taking reps because that's not productive for him because he needs to take reps and he needs to have a great year in order to get the money he wants. So none of it. And what's he going to do? Stand up in public and say, I deserve more money? That's not really who he is. And it would be terrible PR on his part. So I'm going to lean to the front office on this one, on the hardline stance. Okay? Even if I'm a Tua believer, I get what they have a job to do. And so they also can't necessarily be fans like me. They have to say, okay, we're going to commit, but we're not going to be completely irresponsible about it. We'll see how this turns out. DiNardo, Big O, any updates as far as UM will never have their own stadium, DiNardo. That's complete fantasy. Okay, my man, drop that stuff. That'll never happen. They're not building a stadium in Coral Gables, bro. The property in Coral Gables is ridiculous. So that's not going to happen. Not gonna, and they're not going to allow a stadium in Coral Gables where 50, 60,000 are causing traffic jams. No shot. City of Coral Gables will never allow that to happen. So you can forget about that stuff. Greg Souza, if we're offering around $50 million a year and the guarantees are decent, why wouldn't Tua just take it? I mean, if he's playing well the next few years, they can always pay him more in the future. Exactly. And I think they want to build the team around him too. Ocala Joe, this Tua thing is starting to take shape to the Jerry Maguire script where Cuba Gooding Jr. had to bail out or ball out to get his contract. Thoughts? Yes. Yeah. He probably will have to come back and have a massive year so he can then force them to give him the money. Yes. And then everything will work out. The thing is, I don't think any of this gets to like what Alf was talking about. Oh, trade me. This is all bullshit. They'll complain. They want their money. The team will want to protect themselves. They'll reach some common ground and they'll get it done. I'm not worried about it. If they don't get common ground now, they'll get common ground next offseason. Whatever, dude. He's got no leverage and nowhere to go. So. Josh Allen's deal looks good now compared to what Lawrence and Goff got paid. But at the time, people said it was crazy. The market changes every year and the more money. Yeah, no, It's whatever you pay somebody, that contract looks crazy, and then later on, you know, the contract will get old right away. Jimmy to Houston or Golden State? D-Laz, you better move him. That's all I know. If the Heat don't trade Jimmy Butler, that's a massive, massive mistake. U.S. Women's Olympic roster was announced today. No Alex Morgan. She was left off. Well, I mean, Alex is, you know, she's up there already, you know, in years. And she's done everything she could do. You know what I'm saying? So after signing all these free agents and building this team up for 4 years, we're going to take a risk on the disgruntled QB and potentially missing out on signing. None of that's going to happen. None of that's going to happen. Tua will have to play. Period. Big O, what do you think the front office has offered Tua? Do you think I'm way off thinking the Dolphins won't go above $175 million guaranteed? I'm not sure, dude. I don't even know how to answer that question. I don't know what they've offered him, but clearly it's not enough, right? And if, according to Darlington, they're not in the Lawrence or in the golf categories, then the guarantees aren't anywhere near what those guys are getting, right? Or not close to those guys. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. That one leaves me kind of baffled. By the way, just to kind of throw this out here a little bit, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, their game over the weekend, it's really Caitlin Clark. It's not. People watch Angel Reese to see what stupid thing she'll try to do against Caitlin Clark. And luckily this weekend, she just played basketball and she did great and didn't do anything stupid, or her teammates didn't do anything stupid and disgusting. And so really it's about Caitlin Clark. But it was the most watched game in the WNBA in 23 years. Pretty amazing. Pretty freaking amazing. Okay? 23 years for the young lady. Now, let me explain a couple things, because, you know, some of you out there, you know, and I get it, sometimes you don't want to hear actually what's really going on, but let's give you the exact what's it called, story. Anyway, so these two ended up putting together one hell of a game, which that's the good thing about it, is that was a hell of a game. But at the same time, when we talk about viewership, okay, listen to this. Where are we at here? 2.3 million viewers ended up watching the Caitlin Clark Angel Reese game. Now, the WNBA season has taken one hell of a turn. Okay, Clark and Indiana are averaging 1.184 million viewers per game, according to Fox Sports' Michael Mudville. All right, 1.1 million. All right, that's more than double the average of non-Clark games. Non-Clark games comes in at 428,000. So the average WNBA game that does not include Caitlin Clark, it includes Angel Reese and others, 428,000 viewers. Which, by the way, is up. Last year was 301,000. But when Clark plays, all her games are averaging over 1 million viewers, 1.1, more than double. of what averages a regular game. So the game that was the most watched game this weekend for the WNBA in 23 years, it was more about watching Caitlin Clark and then watching the Joker, the Riddler, because there's only one Batman. And then you wanted to watch what the villain was going to do against Batman. Basically, that's what it is. Angel Reese, a hell of a player. It's a lot of good inside players there in the WNBA. But the draw constantly is Caitlin Clark. It's pretty amazing. 1.1 million viewers for all her games is the average. And the rest of the WNBA, it's 428,000. That's an enormous difference, dude. Wow. That is, you talk about a monster. And talk about ratings. The Stanley Cup Finals drew 7.66 million viewers in Game 7 of the Panthers and the Oilers, which is the best Game 7 since 2019 when they had 8.91 million viewers. That was the Blues and the Bruins. In 2011, the Bruins and the Canucks had 8.54 million. The game on Monday night peaked at 10.3 million at 10:45 at night. So pretty good job by the Panthers and the Oilers to be one of the more higher rated games of all time in hockey. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So good for hockey. Great for the WNBA that Caitlin Clark is. Jesus Christ, dude. Talk about moving the needle, my man. Wow, that is moving the needle. Holy shit, that is moving the needle. All right, what do we got here? What do we got going on? Bitcoin 61,493. Dow Jones, by the way, is up 28 points. The S&P is up 2.5 points. And the NASDAQ barely up 13,000th of a point. So we got going on there. Let's see. David Dwork will be joining us to talk a little Panthers in a minute. So we'll have some fun with David. What else do we have here? John Rouse in the house. Would the WNBA be in existence if the WA didn't fund them? Early on, no, of course not. But everything, kind of needs a boost, and you try to build it up. Like I've said before, John, the real failure of the WNBA and most of women's sports is women. That's all. No bigger phonies in the world than women. They happily go to football games and basketball games and baseball games and hockey games with men, but they do a shit job of supporting women's sports. We do a great job of supporting men's sports. But why is it that the other sex is freaking horrible at supporting their own? Why is that? There's more women than men in the United States. There's more women than men in the world. There's more of you than there is of us. That's where the real failure is, John. What I hate about women's sports at times is that they almost blame us and call us chauvinist, even though by the way, I follow women's sports. So, I got a soul flag here. Okay. So, anybody can kiss my ass on this, but I can talk about this, and I hate this because it's almost like the male is blamed for chauvinistic or sexist ways because we don't support or respect women's sport as much as men. Well, screw that, dude. Where are the women? You people don't support jack shit when it comes to women's sports. So before you point the fingers at us, point the fingers at your damn self. So John, that's really the real failure of all of women's sports. Okay? That's the real failure. Okay? If men weren't going to women's tennis matches, women's tennis would be suffering too. But we love women's tennis, so we go to it. But women in general in this country absolutely suck when it comes to supporting women's sports. That's the real problem with women's sports and why they don't gain as much traction as they should, because their own doesn't support them unless a man is dragging them to the game. Ain't that a bitch? Or as CeeLo Green would say, ain't that some shit? Let's switch gears. Let's talk a little hockey. Let's talk with the great David Dwork. Follow him on Twitter at David Dwork. You can catch his work at the Hockey News. You can also catch the Hockey Show with Roy Bellamy. How you doing, my brother? You doing good? Oh, wait a minute. Not hearing you. No. Mike.
Yep. Now?
There you go. There you go.
We got it. I plugged in the good mic for you and everything. I got to get it working.
Yeah, you got to get it working. You doing good?
Oh man, well, now that I got my shit together and the microphone's working, I'm great. It's been a crazy month or so, especially the last little while. But the way it ended, I wouldn't trade it for anything at this point.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. But by the way, just finishing off what I was just talking, isn't it kind of screwed up, right? That women's sports really doesn't grow because women overall don't support women's sports.
I've been paying attention to what's happening in the WNBA. I have been tracking what's been happening in women's hockey, and I still feel like I need to just stay in my lane with this one.
I'm not afraid of controversies, but it's one of those where they're great at coming over to male sports because we're dragging them over to the games mostly, or they're coming for their husbands or boyfriends or whatever. You rarely see groups of women going to sporting. It happens, but it's minute, it's small. You know what I'm saying? But women.
Well, that's the trend is to go there, right? Like it has to start somewhere.
Right.
Like women's sports has never been as big as they are now. So it just has to continue on that progression, I would think.
Women love hockey, bro. I mean, love hockey. The hottest
everything else.
The hottest on average go to hockey games, not football games or basketball games, actually. The best looking women are usually at hockey games, actually. But it's a male.
I've seen the Heat games are like a club.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I know. But they're less covered up at the Heat games. Whereas,
Yeah. That's a good point. So it's a little hotter down by South Beach, not at South Beach, down in Miami than it is up in Sunrise. But no, just to the point.
A hot look is a woman in a hockey jersey. That's a hot.
Don't get me started.
Right? I mean, that's a super hot look. Ladies, I want you to know, women in hockey jerseys.
Yeah, because they're like big sweaters. They're like big sleep-ins. It's just the jersey. But I mean, that used to be one of my favorite things with my wife back in the day. It's been a little while, but when she used to run around when she were in apartments or whatever, and she would just have one of my hockey jerseys on. It's very sexy.
Hot, definitely, yeah. But it is odd how women's sports don't get supported by women. Just like in soccer, one of the things I've been talking about forever. Go look at all the soccer stars. They're all short, dude. They're all 5'5" and 5'6", 5'7", 5'8". I love how we say, well, if LeBron played soccer. No, dude. Our short athletes go out to become lawyers and doctors and teachers and garbage men and post office and all that stuff. They're not going to the NFL, the NHL. Theo Fleury is not normal in the NHL, no. Just like Dustin Pedroia is not normal in baseball. Yet, that's what's normal in soccer. The weirdest thing is our American short athletes don't go play soccer. They go and become professionals and careers and other things. These These are the dilemmas that I think about right there. Okay.
I like it.
Americans that don't go play soccer could make us a powerhouse, and women not supporting women's sports.
Well, I think just to put a bow on what I was going to say about the women's sports, I think it will see a change because with so many other things, you've got to go to the youth and you've got to start there as they get older and let the game grow with them. So I feel like the younger women who are watching the Caitlin Clarks and the Angel Reeses of the world right now are going to be, as they get older and they start driving and they start doing out with their friends, that's what they're going to want to do together. I hope. And that's what I think where the growth would come from.
I hope so, because then it would become a monster if women backed it. There's more of them than us.
No doubt.
You know what I mean? It would be amazing. All right, so let's talk about it, bro. You've been covering it for years. I've been talking about it for years. They finally got the entire combination together. You knew they had ownership. You knew they had the right coach. You knew you had to get the right players, and then you had to stay healthy. That's been the other knock on them because they were so banged up before at the end of a season. You had everything fall in place for you, and you put it together, dude. Pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it started with Zito, bringing in Bill Zito and setting the team up for success. He built one hell of a roster, and we saw last year they had a great roster, had a great system. Then injuries happened. You know, the luck doesn't go your way, and that's part of it. They came back this year just as prepared. They increased their depth to try to mitigate what happened from last year. And as you said, things fell their way. Like everything was there, everything was put into place, and it all worked out this year. And that doesn't always happen. You could be the best team in the regular season. You could have the best players. You could have help. It all has to come together at the right time. So the fact that happened for the Panthers, the way that the last few years have been building up to it, I am thrilled for the team, for the fans, for everybody that I know that works for the organization. It's just been awesome for it to come to fruition for everybody. And it's just been cool. It's been great. Like last year in Vegas, being on the ice after they lost and seeing the other team celebrating with their media. And it was cool. It was awesome to be a part of, but there was certainly a feeling in my chest where I was like, man, what would this be like to do it with my team, with my friends, with the people who I know? And so to have that kind of become a reality the other night was a life-changing experience. You know, it was like one of those things that like you will take to the grave, and I'm forever grateful, because just because you're in the position to get there doesn't mean you're going to get there.
Yeah.
So
and let me tell you again, you know, you see it all the time, dude. You know, the Heat are in good hands because you got the Arison family and Riley overall, and that's 25 years. And you look at Inter Miami now, and you see what the Moss brothers are doing, and obviously those maniacs want to win badly, and they prove it to you. And you got to have ownership that is truly dedicated. And Viola and Sifu, bro, the dedication that Viola has shown, to me, that's the most important factor out of all of it. Sure, you need Zito. Sure, you need Palmery. Sure, you need great players. Sure, you need Matt Caldwell to be an excellent president. Of course, you need all of that. But, man, if you have a Bruce Sherman type of commitment, you're not going to get Vinny Viola results.
No, how many ownership groups did this team go through before it got to Mr. Viola, before he kind of regulated everything, started investing into the team? It's been a long process, and it absolutely has to start from the top, and everything trickles down from there. It started with Viola, then he went and hired Caldwell. Caldwell went out the extensive thing. They got in Zito. They made the decision after the President's Trophy season, we need to make a change. They brought in Maurice. It all trickles down. And we actually, Roy Bellamy and I, my co-host of the hockey show, we caught up with Mr. Viola on the ice on Monday night. And after thanking him for everything that, he's done for the team, obviously, it was just interesting hearing him appreciate all the work and the layers of time and effort that they had to put in. And obviously, the blood, sweat, and tears of writing checks can obviously be very painful for some of us more than others. But it's still, this is, they invest. That's what these guys do. And the fact that he was able to recognize what kind of an asset the Panthers were when he made the purchase and then invested properly and built this up, I mean, it's spectacular. And the fact that it's happening to the Florida Panthers, like I turn on my TV, and I see Barkov with the Panthers logo on his chest, raising the cup. We've been watching these videos for our whole lives of other teams in that moment. So to see the Panthers doing it, like, it still hasn't completely sunk in yet. It is spectacular.
And listen, you've watched them now. This is 5 straight years of the playoffs. This is, from President's Cup to runner-up in the finals to now winning it. This was, by winning it, you kind of like cross that threshold. You break that glass ceiling of trust that all of a sudden now, I think you've watched the culture being built and you've watched the fan base being built. My God, we had, 15, 20,000 people sitting in the arena watching a game that was on the road. That's freaking crazy.
Yeah.
But if you would have lost this, you would have lost that trust and you would have lost some momentum that you would have had to kind of rebuild again. And you see it with the Dolphins. No matter what the Dolphins do, they're never trusted. And why? Because they have failed every time for many, 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 many years, as far as people can remember, because people don't remember the 70s anymore. And all they remember is that the Dolphins are never get it over the hump. And for the Panthers to win, I just think it does what the Heat has done. It just opens up the door now for this really long-term build of a culture and the franchise. I think now fans will be interested on the fringe shit that the Panthers do. The stuff that they would yawn and wouldn't care about and wouldn't even read that you write. Now they're going, let's be honest.
Yeah. No, dude. Nobody's interested if they're not doing well. Like, that's
right.
That's South Florida.
And now they're going to be, how we are with the Heat, that we're fucking looking at Summer League, dude. Like we never gave a shit about Summer League 10 years ago, but now that they're starting to have success and all those things, we're going to care more about the draft now. We didn't give a shit about the draft, but people, even though they're not going to know who the hell he is, they're just going to go, oh, so who'd the Panthers draft, bro? And I just think the winning really just shatters it. And now I just think it's going to start, like, it's a tsunami now, what's going to happen for them and their fan base.
Yeah, I think you kind of referencing the Heat is a perfect reference point for what this could become. And the trust is a great place to start from that, because with the Heat, and you talk about how people are watching the Summer League now and tracking the draft, that's because they trust that if they pay attention to that and they know about these smaller details, that they're going to come into effect on the top end. And they know that this team builds like that. And that's where the success comes from. So when you're talking about the Panthers, why not the same thing? Fans realize, hey, this team is going to be good for a few years. Maybe I should pay attention to the guy they just drafted. Maybe I should look and see what's happening in Charlotte and pay attention to the next generation of Panthers players, because I'm going to be interested for years to come. And that's what winning does to South Florida sports fans. That's why, as you said, the Dolphins, God love them. And I love the Miami Dolphins as much as my kids, man. Like that goes deep. And there's no faith that they can win a big game right now. Just getting to a big game is like an accomplishment, which kind of sucks. But, it is what it is.
It's been like that for decades.
Yeah, since I was a kid.
Decades of this.
With Dan Marino and even those teams,
never trusted
Mr. Marino.
They were never.
They didn't
trusted.
win big games. They made the playoffs, but that ever happens, I will lose my shit. Like, that's the thing. Like, I feel like if the Dolphins win a Super Bowl, it'll be like having kids. And there's a video of me celebrating like an idiot when the Panthers won the other night, and I lost it a little bit. But I mean, I know we're supposed to talk about hockey, but just I love the Dolphins, and if they ever prove that they can win a big game, man, like that would. I feel like as much as this town gets behind the Heat, and they're getting behind the Panthers, I feel like if the Dolphins ever get to a point where they're like a perennial winning team, it will not compare to anything down here.
Nothing will come close to a Dolphin celebration. Nothing will come close to that. But, but that's, to me, that was the most important thing, because if you would have lost that Game 7, it just, the whole President's Trophy, then last year and then this year, and it just becomes one of those things. I've seen it with Dolphin fans. They just don't trust. And they're always nervous about anything and everything that goes on with the Dolphins. There's never real confidence in the Dolphins. And that's always been with us with the Panthers too, because you've kind of been an upstart team whenever you've been there. The President's Cup, you were kind of a finesse team back in the 90s. In the 90s, you were just happy to be there, that kind of stuff. And now this is as legit as it gets, dude. And that to me, and let me tell you something, it becomes a sweeter championship because the fact that you fell into the abyss of 3 games and how mentally it can screw with you, and for you to dig deep and put that effort where you played your game in game 7, that by the end of that third period, the Oilers wanted nothing to do with the fucking Panthers.
No, they were exhausted.
They were exactly there. And that's when we said, bro, this is your game. Now you're back. This is the Panthers that we've been watching, because that's the Panthers we were watching the first 3. Well, two games in a third, because really the Oilers outplayed them in that first game.
Yeah,
really.
Bob stole game 1. Bob, for sure.
Bob was the man in game 1. You know what I'm saying?
Bob stole a game for the Panthers. McDavid stole a couple games for Edmonton. That's how it should be when you get to a series like this. The order of the games and how they were won maybe makes it a little odd, but otherwise, I mean, it was a great series. And, I'm just, as you're kind of talking about it, I'm thinking about the trust factor. And it all goes back for me to Zito, because when he makes a move, you just assume at this point that, this is going to be great for the team, because every move he's made has been great for the Panthers. And if a guy didn't work out, he flips him and finds a way to make it work in the future, but not just for his team. He does right by the guy who gets traded. Like, he's just, it blows my mind, that for 3 of the 4 years he's been in the Panthers, he's been a finalist for the GM of the year and has not won any of them. It baffles me. And, to his credit, he doesn't give a shit. Like, I remember talking to him last year at the draft, and I was like, hey, after he had lost, I was like, does it bother you, or do you care? And he looked me dead in the face, and he's like, all I care about is that big silver cup.
Yeah.
He's happy right now. But for me, like, dude, the guy changed the franchise. Hiring him was the move, but everything he's done since then has been great for this team. So for me, it starts there, because if you trust the guy who's picking the players, make the right choice. I mean, what's the problem at that point? Like, your team's gonna be great, and they have been.
Yeah, no, and listen, Conn Smythe or the Jim Gregory, those are things that they deserve. But in the end, that's what I tell fans, brother. They got the Stanley Cup. That's the one that matters. That's the one that's going to make all of them happy. Because if you win the Conn Smythe and you win the Jim Gregory, but you don't win the cup, it doesn't mean shit. It just won't. Just go look at Connor McDavid. When they asked him about Smythe, he was like, bro, I don't give a shit. Basically, he told you, he didn't say it this way, but I'll paraphrase what he said. I don't give a shit about the Conn Smythe, bro. I wanted the cup. I don't want the Conn Smythe. That's basically what he was saying, saying it, and I don't blame him, because that's what
maybe he felt he didn't really deserve it, since he went the last 2 games without a point, or I think a shot. So that's maybe another topic, but I feel like the McDavid love, and he was.
So we took it away from Bob. So we took it away from Bob because he had a couple of bad games. I mean, it goes both ways, right?
Or shutting down the defense, like the way he defended in that series. On top of I think what kind of irked me wasn't so much that McDavid got it, was when I saw the ballots. He was first on every ballot except for one. And that was it, really? Was he that good? He had 2 amazing games. Maybe one of the, maybe the play of the series. I feel like I'm being a little bitch right now because the Panthers won the cup, and I'm like worried about this. But to me, it was just like, I cringed a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I get it. But in the end, they got the one that that matters, which is the Stanley Cup. And to me, that's what it's all about right there, man. And let me tell you, what happened also that night. You justified the Bob move, because the Bob move was not a good move, and it's interesting how the series mirrors Bob's career with the Panthers, because you go into the abyss by losing those 3 games, and you have to find yourself to come back and win and believe in yourself, right? Well, Bob fell into the abyss after signing that contract and all the expectations. He was terrible, and he was not the guy that you expected. And then even last year, it took like a 4-string goaltender to get you into the playoffs. And then, Bob had his, but this year, Bob played Vezina Trophy style hockey, and he had a great playoff run. I don't care about 2 games where it really wasn't all about him. The people in front of him also completely sucked at times. They were completely discombobulated in front of him at that time. So it was all a thing. But, for Bob to come back from the abyss like he did, dude, it's super freaking impressive what he did to come back. And it justifies everything. After everything, Viola and Sifu can sit there and say, okay, it finally worked out for us, all this money we gave the goaltender.
Yeah, you definitely trade that contract for a Stanley Cup when he signed it, so it's worked out pretty well. I really think
you signed him for a cup, right? You got it. A couple years later, that's all. A lot
of the credit for this has to go to Maurice, though, for the way that for the defensive systems he plays, because now Bob is in such a better situation, kind of similarly to when he played in Columbus under Tortorella. Just because they play such a sound game in front of him that they let him really focus on stopping that first shot, not have to worry as much about second and third chance opportunities that kicked his ass for the first few years he was in Florida. So while Bob, credit to him, work ethic, unmatched, unrivaled, his demeanor and the way he focuses never shifted, which allowed him to kind of survive those few years and get to this point. But I mean, it just kind of goes back to what we were just saying. It's all full circle, right? Like, Mo came in, Zito, all the signings, like it all had to happen in the perfect way. And now they're Stanley Cup champions.
Dude, was the loneliest guy in the NHL Jonathan Huberdeau the other night?
Ooh, I hope not. I mean, yeah, I hope he was enjoying it for his former teammates a bit.
There's no
but
fucking
yeah, I mean,
he was enjoying it, bro. There's
he's
no
got a lot
way.
of friends on the team, so I'm sure he was really happy for those guys. But I mean, I don't want to speak for him. If it was me, I would certainly be watching on my TV, feeling a little left out, like that should have been me, that could have been me. But this is such a different team than the one that he last played on here. Like it's almost not recognizable. But yeah, I'm sure that had to suck a little bit. It would suck for me.
Dude, the DNA of this team is completely different. Remember, bro, I was playing the Meow Meow song for them.
Yeah.
Okay?
They've come a long way. They've come
right?
a long way, man.
Yeah, because I was so fucking tired of watching Trocheck get his ass kicked and nobody did a goddamn thing, dude. And,
The guys that would do anything. It was very confusing.
Yeah, and Zito came in and realized the same thing I realized. Bro, we got a bunch of wussies here. We need to toughen up this team. And it started with Radko Gudic and everybody else. And and now this team doesn't take any shit from anybody. I'm telling you, they're the Kings from 12 years ago. They're big, they're physical, they're fast, they take no shit, they wear on you. Yeah, that's what you need in hockey. You know what I mean? It was. And so Huberdeau and Barkov were, like I told you a few years back, you're led by 2 goobers, and you just can't. And as great as Barkov is, there's no fire there. Now, here comes Tkachuk. Couple years in, even Barkov has some fire now because it's the atmosphere around him, Tkachuk and everybody else, that's rubbed off on him a little bit more. He's more emotional than we've ever seen Alexander Barkov, and that's what you kind of needed. The whole attitude had to change of this team, and it started with that Tkachuk move, bro. That Tkachuk move is the move that just really took this franchise to the next level. A superstar that will do anything that it takes to win. That's rare, dude. Gretzky is not throwing himself in front of pucks. Neither is Brett Hull. Okay? And they're great. And he's not their offensive talent, but I love that this guy will scrap, will keep a puck in a corner, will dive and block a shot, will score, will assist, will fight.
Yeah.
My God, Tkachuk does anything and everything that it takes to win. And that's when the best player is willing to do that, it just sets the table. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah. And talking about the luck of things, for all the great moves and the great decisions that Bill Zito has made, like he'll tell you that that Tkachuk move basically fell into his lap.
Yeah.
And hey, awesome. Here's two of our best players for one of the best young players in the league. But it just kind of goes to show how you set yourself up to be in a good spot to succeed. The Panthers had to be a team that Tkachuk wanted to go to for that to have happened. And that starts with, as you said, Zito building the culture, bringing in Gudas, bringing in Hornquist, who's still with the team in terms of the impact that he's had on the culture. So, yeah, it's pretty spectacular. Oh, and, yeah, Matthew Tkachuk, he really personifies what this team tries to do on the ice.
Oh, man. I mean, he's just one of my favorite players to watch because I just love that he will sacrifice anything. I mean, to play with a broken clavicle. Bro, are you kidding me? I mean, Jimmy Butler can't play the next day after he's hanging out at the tennis tournament all day. This guy's playing with a broken clavicle.
You can't compare basketball and hockey.
I know, but I'm just saying that's where you laugh at basketball compared to hockey. That these guys, the guy fucking scored with a broken clavicle, if I'm correct.
They cracked his sternum in game 3. And then he scored after it happened. He scored the tying goal that sent that game to overtime. He could barely move. You see him celebrating. His arms aren't going up. And then the next game he played again. His family was not happy with him for playing. Maurice said he probably shouldn't be playing, but he's not going to tell him no at that point. And then he went out there and he played and he struggled. He sat on the bench for a lot of that game. And then afterwards, him and Maurice had a little come to Jesus moment like, dude, you can't be out there. He's like, I know. But he had to try. And that's who he is. And that's who hockey players are. It's not just a Matthew Tkachuk thing. I guarantee you 95% of the NHL would have done the same thing. That's just hockey culture.
Right. Yeah. Listerine gets whacked in the knee. Jimmy Butler's out for 2 months for that there.
And Sam Bennett. They both got taken out and they came back like the same period. We're worried about them missing time. We're scrambling in the press box and, oh, shit, he's back on the bench already.
Yeah. I know his name. I just call him Listerine.
No. You're good, brother.
It's all good. Okay, so Reinhart, you got to give him a lot of money. Okay, but I'm also watching the Tkachuk brother hanging out there. Do we bring the Tkachuk brother too? I know the cap ain't that big. No, but seriously, what happens now this offseason? Because I know you're going to have most of the team back, but Montour and Reinhart are a couple of huge free agents for this team.
Yeah, well, the Panthers, Zito has a lot of money to spend. I think they only have like 11 or 12 players under contract into next year. I'm sure they're going to bring some guys back. I would think like Kevin Stenlund, Ryan Lombard, a lot of those grit and blue guys, they will be desired to come back. Sam Reinhart, I am expecting a deal there. The two sides have been talking for most of the year. Obviously, things kind of took a back burner during the playoffs. But yeah, Reinhart wants to be a Panther. Him and his fiance or his wife now, they got married last summer. They're very happy down here. He's happy. And also the economics of it, staying in Florida will probably be a little bit easier than moving to another state. There's just a lot of reasons why he wants to stay. And Zito, as we mentioned, he does right by his players. Montour will be an interesting one. I think both players, if they hit the market and they go out there, they're going to get more than what they can get offered in Florida. I do think you have a similar situation to what we saw with the Heat, the Big Three era Heat, where these guys understand that if they take a little bit less off the top, that will help the team be good for years to come. And I think that in turn with the whole state income tax thing kind of plays a big part into the way we're going to see some of the negotiations go down this summer. The Panthers are also
hockey players are different than NBA players. They're not all about the money. They actually care about the environment that they're in too at the same time. So
nobody wants to go to a Panthers 2000s team. Okay.
Right.
They want, like, nobody is going to be, oh, I have 4 decisions to make. These teams are offering me money. I'm going to take less to play for the shit team. Like, no. The team has to be good. But now, like, that's what Zito and Caldwell and Viola, that's what they've created. It's a destination that players want to come to. They have created a locker room that is famous around the league for being one of the tightest, close-knit, fun rooms to be a part of. Like, this is where players want to go. They will probably take a little bit less money for an opportunity to play for this coach, for this team in this city. And that in and of itself, is mind-blowing that the Panthers have gotten to that point. It is really cool.
By the way, I just found it funny that, and I know there's really nothing to it to a certain extent, and then to the other stuff they controlled, but they didn't. It never goes well for the President's Cup winner. Okay, so they were the President's Cup winner a couple of years ago, and it didn't go well for them. Obviously, they were headed for the President's Cup this year. And then all of a sudden, something happened that they started to not play so well for a little stretch. And then they got back on track, but they kind of stayed in that 3rd and 4th slot in the standings pretty much.
And they just found a way to sneak into winning the division at the very end.
Right. And then, they win the Eastern Conference.
Oh, man.
They stay away from the fucking trophy like the plague.
They learned some things on the way, right?
Yeah, it was just
experience counts for something.
Yeah.
They go, we're good with the President's Cup. Last year, we don't need to touch the trophy.
Right. And so this year they avoided the President's Cup, or I don't know. They just kind of slid a little bit. And then this year they also said, no, we're not touching that Eastern Conference trophy. And so, it's just kind of funny how things worked out for them, and they end up winning the cup, so it's just cool.
I love it.
Yeah, it was weird that they were headed for another President's Cup. Basically.
I don't think that it was on their minds, but you know what? What do I know? Maybe it was all a big plan that they were like, you know what? This is exactly what we want to do. We want to avoid the attention that comes and the potential, curse, whatever, that comes with winning the President's Trophy. But hey, they have 3 banners, 3 new banners coming to that arena. You got a division, you got the conference. What's the 3rd one?
Some cup thing?
Yeah, the Stanley Cup.
Some cup thing.
Man, it's still sinking in, I cannot believe it.
By the way, no chance of trading for the other Kachuk, right?
Probably. If I'm Ottawa, I would say hell no, because they're built the same. And I mean, you heard Matthew saying when they interviewed him with his brother next to him on the ice, he's like, this guy's built for it more than I am, which kind of blows your mind. So, and Ottawa just made a deal for a Vezina winning goaltender, Linus Ullmark, the other night. So if I'm Ottawa, I'm holding on to that man as hard as I can, because that's the guy you build your playoff team around. Would that be cool? Yes, that would be awesome. Do I see it happening? Not anytime soon.
No,
I just like to.
It's just funny. I'm watching him there with his bro, and I'm wondering if he's thinking it's a lot warmer down here. They got, the state taxes. I could be close to the family and all that. And, this place looks and of course, Viola does everything freaking first class.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's another thing that and that must get around too, around the league players and agents that,
the new practice facility. Yeah. People are talking about that place because the behind the scenes stuff that the fans don't even get to see, the players area, the lounges, the pool, the sauna, everything that they have for the players, it's unbelievable. It's like the dude from Jurassic Park, spared no expense. They took care of it, man.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's this is why where they're at, because that owner has not cut any freaking corners whatsoever. And if you spend money, now they're going to start getting it back now, because now they're going to be able to sell the paraphernalia. So it's like it's going out of style, and now you can raise your tickets, and now you're going to have a sold out arena.
There's going to be endorsement deals. There's going to be new sponsors. It's going to be a great year for them.
And that platform outside is going to start having people watching games or playoff games and all that kind of stuff. You're going to start building an atmosphere outside too, where you can start to generate revenue also outside. It's just, it's going to get out of control, which is going to be a lot of fun, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I'm happy. I'm excited. I can't wait to see how it turns out, man. This is
right.
awesome.
So tell them about the hockey news and, of course, the hockey show.
Yeah, no, all my Panthers coverage, and there's been a lot of it. Everything written goes to thehockeynews.com/Florida. You can catch all my written work there. And then, of course, my very good friend Roy Bellamy and I have been lucky enough to be hosting the hockey show on the Dan Le Batard Show Network for the past almost a year now. And it's been unreal. We've had amazing guests. We've traveled all over, and there's more to come in the coming season. And we're blessed to have the opportunity. But please, we've been having fun. Come check out the show. Have fun with us.
That's right. Have fun with them, because now we actually have ownership that would keep around a really good team. So it's a beautiful. Yes. Follow him on Twitter at David Dwork and catch his work there at the Hockey News and catch the Hockey Show. Follow it there. Subscribe. David, as always, thank you, my brother. Have a fantastic week. Enjoy the parade.
Thank you. I will. Hopefully I'll see you there.
No, you will not. No.
not coming north of county line.
No. It has nothing to do with that. It's just you would never catch me going to those things anymore. No.
I never went to the Heat ones. I always felt like it would be like an insane thing to park and to find it. And, I don't need the headache. But for this one, whether or not I'm there covering it, whatever I'm doing, I have no idea yet. But I'm not going to miss this one.
Oh, no. And I don't blame you. It's just the only reason I would be there is if I was forced to cover it because I was working for somebody. If not, I'll watch
it on TV.
On TV, bro, I'll be really happy on TV. If there's something I'm happy about these last 4 years, and there's a lot of things I'm happy about, but one of the things is I do whatever the hell I want to do. So that's
brother, you've earned it. You've earned it.
So I'm blessed.
This parade.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that one I will go to because I was 7 years old when 7 and 8 when they last won, and I don't even know if we had a parade back then. I don't think we had anything.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't even remember. I do remember kind of the games, watching them with my dad, but I don't remember much, bro. It was just one of those.
We'll get there.
The Dolphin one I would go to because that's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. So no doubt about that. All right, my brother. We will catch up down the line. Have a great off season and enjoy the parade.
All right, brother. Be well.
You got it. There you go. The great David Dwork. Hockey News and the Hockey Show. Make sure you subscribe. Amazing stuff, man. Amazing stuff. All right. Don't forget Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. Let's see. Big O, the learning just start for the Panthers because they will experience a Champions Live that changes hard your economy as a team. Yes, it does. And they'll be able to build it up now. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how this thing is going to grow for the Panthers. Doug Williams says, I started watching around time Marino started playing. There you go. Really respect Connor McDavid shaking his teammates' hands after a tough series loss. Well, they all do that, man. Hockey's full of classy people, dude. If there's something when you deal with hockey, it's different than all the other sports. And I will generalize here that I cannot do with every other sport. I would generalize that most of the players are really good dudes, bro. Like down to the earth human beings. And then guess what? The coaches are the same because they're cut from the same cloth. And then you run into the front office people and they're cut from the same cloth. And by the way, have you caught Vinny Viola in his interviews? Jesus Christ, can you catch a more classier man? I doubt it. It's amazing how tough and rough that sport is, yet they compartmentalize and separate that stuff. And when they get off the ice, they know how to be like decent human beings. And they can have the roughest night out there, and they will be absolute gentlemen in answering your questions in general. Where in general, in a lot of other sports, which is kind of understandable. They're going to be kind of like a dick when they had a bad night, which is understandable. You're not in a good mood when you didn't have a good day at work or a good day at anything or a good go at anything. You're not happy. Hockey players, man, they're just a different breed. Absolutely different breed. Super impressive people. So that's what you run into in hockey. Constantly, dude. Constantly. It's impressive shit, man. Let's see. I wish I could have seen the undefeated Dolphins never losing yet. Yep. I was a kid, man, so I didn't really enjoy it like an adult would. 7 and 8 years old is not, you're not really enjoying it. And even at least a 7 or 8 year old nowadays is more advanced than I was at 7 or 8. Because back in the early 70s at 7 or 8, you're not like you are nowadays. Not even close. Let's see, especially women's hockey. Oh, I see all the support by women in males hockey. By female hockey, zero support. Yeah, it's a funny thing. It's a touchy subject because people, but you know how it is on this show. I'm not afraid to tackle any of this stuff. But I to me, that's the part I find just the irony of it is just amazing. Don't blame us for women's sports not growing, and don't call us chauvinist. At least definitely not me, because I watch it. But in general, don't call our side of the sex chauvinistic, or we don't give women's sports the time of day and all that kind of stuff. No, dude, the real problem, there's enough men that do give it. Maybe not all of them. Maybe it's a smaller, it's a small minority. Maybe it's only 10, 20, 30% of men, or 40. But the real problem is that 99% of women don't support it. That's the real problem. Okay. Also, a quote by Burr: women don't want to see a group of women coming together as a team and accomplishing a common goal. They would rather see them completely destroying each other. Real Housewives. I don't know about that, Gordon, because, well, no, you might be right. Because when the women's national soccer team is having success, it's men that are dominating still in the stands. So maybe you're right. I mean, women are real competitive beings, more than men. They are more competitive than us. But, I will lay the blame on women's sports not maximizing itself on women. And that's a fact. Like, that is, if you don't want to admit it, it's because you're afraid to touch the subject. But deep down inside, I'm right. So, Big O, will you be in A18 Beachfront Avenue? No, hell no. Hell no. No shot. None whatsoever. I don't even. I'd command a couple of bucks to go to that. Put it that way. You'd have to pay me a good chunk of money to go put up with that shit all day. To get in and get out and all. Oh, God, no. TV is more than enough for me. Big O, of all the Panther collectibles out there, what would be the one you would purchase? I don't know, man. I don't know what collectibles are out there, to be quite honest, so I don't know. When I have a collectible, it's because I was given it or something like that, So I'm not the person to ask, my brother. I'm sorry. I wouldn't know which ones are out there and which ones would be more valuable than others or something like that. So I'd be lying if I told you anything about that, Eddie Beto. Let's see. Same here, Big O, but that's when I became a fan. Okay. Oh, in your gut, does Tua finally deliver us? Yes. Definitely a Super Bowl championship. Yes. Yes. Definitely the next 3 or 4 years, we win a Super Bowl championship. If the team stays healthy, yes. If we get a little luck with injuries, if we have the luck of the last 2 years, Troy, we ain't winning a damn thing. We're not going anywhere. Okay? We cannot be riddled with injuries. I think I saw somewhere on the chat board somewhere where when I was doing one of the interviews, somebody put, well, the Dolphins O-line was rated poorly. Of course, dude. Most of them were injured. 2/3 of their line was toast. And even their backup center was injured. Of course, that's the reason why Tua probably didn't have as much time to get to his second and third, progressions, because he didn't have a line that would give him any time. But again, they were all injured. It was a disaster, dude. You really couldn't measure it. It's hard to measure a team when they're injured like that. So, Troy, I've always believed that Tua is a Super Bowl champion quarterback. He can win a Super Bowl in this league. He needs a team around him, obviously, and he's got a team now, but they got to stay healthy, dude. We cannot have what we've dealt with the last 2 years. Cannot happen, my friends. We will not see any success whatsoever. You can't win when almost all your 2/3 of your line, offensive line, is done. Your safety's playing with 2 bum knees. Your corner is a shell of himself. Your entire linebacking core is out. Your 2 pass rushers are out. I mean, it just gets ridiculous, dude. Your 2 running backs were banged up. Too many injuries, bro. Way too many injuries. You cannot win like that. So if you can avoid that many injuries, Troy, and you're somewhat healthy, then yeah. I love that this front office can build a team that can win a championship. It's not just about Tua. It's about the team. So yes, definitely they'll do it. Tua doesn't deserve market value. Sorry, he couldn't win the division, hasn't won a single playoff game, not to mention winning a game in the cold. Sorry. Yeah. Freddie, hey, the Dolphins never win in the cold, bro, for 50 years. Marino couldn't win in the cold either, Freddie. I don't know if you know that, Freddie, but that's been a Dolphin thing for 40 years. They don't win in anything. Okay? So it's not a Tua thing. But you go ahead and continue in your ignorant ways. You keep thinking that. Anyway, Orlando, what do you think about Alex Morgan? Bro, she's been there, done it already. Now I've changed my mind. I was wrong. Diana Taurasi should not be on the roster anymore. She's got gold medals. She's got WNBA championships. She's got college championships. She's won more than enough. She's 41 years old. Women's basketball needs more men to show up, so they need to bring Caitlin Clark onto the U.S. women's national team. Just for the pub. That's how I would answer it. So Alex Morgan, she ain't going to bring anything extra. So bring somebody else. I'm good with it. That somebody else is probably younger and fresher, so I don't have a problem with it. Just like here, Diana Taurasi, out, put Caitlin Clark in. That's what women's basketball needs. More Caitlin Clark, more butts in seats, more eyes watching. Big O, did you see the viral video? Yeah, the Texas A&M coach. He's pissed at the reporter, bringing up the question about leaving, and then he leaves. Yeah, he goes to Texas. Yeah, I saw it. It's funny. It's funny. But typical. It's what it happens there all the time. Yeah, and I know Johnny, he tells Freddie, Tua's only played in one playoff game. It's like he played in one playoff game with a completely injured team against the defending champions on the road in the coldest game in the last 40, 50 years. You know, it's just, bro, the things that go on with Tua, the stupidest shit is said around Tua, like what Freddie does. But what Freddie does is it's like all over the place. So many people do the same stupid shit with Tua. The guy's been to one playoff game, and they treat him like he's been here for 10 years going to playoff games. You know, if he's been here 5 years and going to playoff games every year and never wins, if he's like Dak Prescott, then let's go. Criticize his ass. He's been to one playoff game. And they make it sound like he's a 10-year veteran that's never done anything. Meanwhile, the last couple years that he's been in this offense, he's been in the MVP race. I'm sure that happens to every other quarterback we've had here, Freddie. Cleo Lemon, Jay Fiedler, Ray Lucas, Chad Pennington. They're all in the MVP race. Yeah, no, that happens to our quarterbacks all the time. The dumbest shit is said about Tua. And Freddie is a perfect example of it. Perfect freaking example. Anyway. Same for me, Big O. Rather watch the parade on TV under a cold AC than actually going there and sweating balls for hours. That's another. I forgot about the sweating balls and all that. I'm thinking of just traffic and a pain in the ass. Yes. I saw a comment where there was only one game where the O-line started all five played. It was the Denver game. I think they did pretty good in that game. Yeah, when we got all five healthy, 70 points. Right. I know what you're saying. It's just the dumbest shit is said about Tua. Like he's been here for 10 years going to playoff games and failing all the time. Just like, well, he didn't win against playoff teams. Oh, okay. He didn't beat the Ravens. Well, but he beat them the last 2 years. So you're going to forget that. Okay. Selective memory is what we have. With the reduced 18-player roster got the Olympics, I agree. Trinity Rodman's time had come. I mean, at one point or another, you got to give it to somebody younger and give them an opportunity. And I get that you want to have that older player there and all that, but man, if you're deep. So, yep. Sage Rosenfeld's definitely in the MVP conversation. Dan Marino had an 8-10 record in the playoffs in his career. I guess Marino was a failure. Yep. Bro, if Tua goes 8-10 in the playoffs, these idiots will bury him forever, bro. They already have. But if he goes 8-10, they'll blame it all on him, which when we look at it, you know, we don't blame it all on Marino because we know it wasn't Marino. Because we know there was no defense and there was no running game. And, there, you know, it was just so hard. But the fact that you went to a playoff game against Kansas City with no linebackers, no pass rushers, your safety's playing with two bum knees, your corner is a shell of himself, none of that matters. Two running backs were banged up. None of that matters. Your 2/3 of your offensive line and mincemeat, the center that's starting, the backup center is injured. None of it matters. No, but it's all on Tua. Again, the dumbest shit is said about him. Constantly. I've never heard more dumber shit said about one player than Tua Tagovailoa. It's truly amazing to me. I've never, ever said that. I've never seen it. So, you know. Tommy Tremonti, we're up 3 games on Buffalo and 6 games to go, and we lost them. Tua cannot win the big games. There we go. There we go. So it was Tua that lost all those games. Tommy and what's the other idiot? And Freddie. But we get this every day because there's a lot of you that you're not really smart when it comes to football. When it comes to sports, you watch, but you really don't know what you're watching. That's basically what I'm saying of people like Tommy and Freddie. You guys aren't very smart when it comes to sports. That's all it is. You're parrots. So it's sad, but it's the truth. That's all right. It's all good. A team that can't win big games, a franchise that never wins big games, but let's blame it on Tua. A franchise that can't win big games for over a quarter century, but let's blame it on the one guy that's here now, because, of course, let's just blame him. It's convenient. It's not realistic that everybody else can't win it, right? But hey, it fits your narrative. There's no way that the narrative fits that everybody has choked for the Dolphins. No, that part doesn't fly. I get it. I totally get it. All right, folks, let's get to some birthdays today. Let's start off with musicians. Let's start off with South Florida's own Ariana and Panther fan, Ariana Grande. What is it, Pompano Beach or something like that? She's from? I forgot what city she's from. But anyway, I know she's a South Florida girl, born in 1993 on this date. Happy birthday to her. Let's see, who else do we have? Gretchen Wilson, U.S. country singer. She was born on this date in 1973. Colin Greenwood, bassist for Radiohead, born on this date in 1969. Mark Declote. He is the drummer for EMF. Oh, you're unbelievable. Born in 1969. We go with Harriet Wheeler, singer, songwriter for The Sundays. Here's where the story ends. Very good band, The Sundays, by the way. Terry Nunn. We're disco queens now. Terry Nunn was born on this date in 1961. Lead singer for Berlin. And fashionista, right? Because her haircut, the blonde and the half black, whatever, super hot, by the way. Super hot look for her. Chris Isaac was born in this state in 1956. Mick Jones, guitarist and singer for The Clash, was born on this date in 1955. It's a hell of a day for musicians today, isn't it? It's a lot of them, man. Let's see. Who else? Larry Taylor was born in this state in 1942, bassist for the American rock band Canned Heat. Billy Davis Jr. was born on this date in 1940, a member of the Fifth Dimension. Yes. And that's, and one more. Dutch-born American manager, the Colonel, baby, Colonel Tom Parker, who became Elvis Presley's manager, was born on this date in 1910. We lost him in 1997 at 87 when he suffered a stroke. All right. Let's go with birthdays today. Jeanette McCurdy, TV actress, is 32. Aubrey Plaza, she's a trip. She is 40 years old. I didn't think Aubrey was that old, by the way. Derek Jeter is 50 years old. Christian Yama, soccer player, is 38. Iman Shumpert, basketball player, is 34. Shannon Sharp, football player, 56. Michael Vick, football player, 44. Rudy Gobert, basketball player, 32. Haley Quinn Smith, actress, 25. Nick Offerman, actor, 54. Actor Chris O'Donnell, 54. Any wrestlers, Sean, celebrating birthdays today, sir?
Yes, sir. There is a full list.
Ooh.
It is Damian Demento was born on this date in 1958.
Oh, Dr. Demento. I used to hear that all the time.
There it is.
Dr. Demento, yes. Go ahead.
Jackie Fargo was born on this date in 1930. He has passed away. J.J. Dillon was born on this date in 1942. He's one of the leaders of the Four Horsemen. Larry Sharp was born on this date in 1951. He is known for the Monster Factory, who has spit out a lot of WWE legends and other pro wrestlers. Mark Jindrak was born on this date in 1977, and Matt Stryker was born on this date, 1974.
Wow, dude, that might be the longest list you've ever read.
It is. The 30th will be a little bit longer, but I don't know if we're on the 30th.
Okay. All right. I don't know. Is that a weekend or something? All right.
It is Sunday. The Forbidden Door pay-per-view is that day.
Okay. Well, we're not involved in any finals, so no. So, yeah. And by the way, I'm thinking we will, once Inter Miami makes the playoffs, we will do a post game for Inter Miami also for all rounds. Okay. Just so you'll know. I mean, we're months away from that, but I'm thinking that we've got to do that if we're involved, and we've got a shot definitely with Inter Miami and winning another title here. I gotta take out the latest rankings today and move Paul Maurice up to number 2. He has passed Jim Larinaga. How about that? All right, let's go with music history today. On this date in June 26, 2003, rock legends Deep Purple were deluged with emails after they announced that their new album was slated to be called Bananas. Fans were irate over the ridiculous name, so they went bananas. In 1970, the Guess Who had the number 1 song in the country with American Woman. In 2000, by the way, Lenny Kravitz, remakes sometimes suck, but sometimes they're really good. Lenny Kravitz's version of American Woman, exceptional. In 2000, Oasis released a statement saying that Noel Gallagher had left the band's European tour. It's believed that he had been fighting with his brother and bandmate Liam over his drinking. I think that line has been repeated in history like several times. In 77, on this date, the Eagles topped the album charts with Hotel California. Welcome to the Hotel California. In 2005, 9 Inch Nails closed the Coachella Festival in California. Other performers that day included New Order and The Bravery. In 2012, Offspring released their 9th studio album, Days Go By. And that's what happened today in music history. All right. Did you see the Hawk Tua girl ended up getting a deal already? Industry buzz. Hollywood has its eye on the Hawk Tua girl. Yes, sir. Sources say she's even talking with UTA, arguably Tinseltown's most powerful firm, but a rep with UTA told us she's not on its rolls. She's still prepare for a book, album, yada, 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 all that good stuff. But apparently she is now getting represented by an agency. Haley Welsh has already finagled her own merchandise deal with the Tennessee company Fathead, and it's selling a signed embroidered Hawk Tua hats for $43.70. Now the phrase got more attention over the weekend after a fan audibly praised Bryson DeChambeau at a shot at the Live Golf Tournament over the weekend with the salute. Hawk Tua. So the Hawk Tua girl, which you know she's got to capitalize on this. So she's got some representatives already. That's pretty cool. Good for her, bro. Good for her. She's a trip. She is an absolute trip. I love it. All right, what do we got here? What's going on in the markets? What's going on in the crypto market? Woo! We went under 61. We were flirting with 62, 61 and a half. Now we're at 60,926. Woo! Perfect time to make a Bitcoin donation to the show here on a dip. We love it. Thank you all out there, as always, for supporting the hell out of us. By the way, smash the hell out of the like button. We're at 254 likes. We have 172 watching right now. So we've already crushed the likes over the watching, but you know how we have people coming in and out constantly. So maybe there's 46 of you that can get us to 300. Let's go. Those of you right now that are watching that you haven't hit the like button, support the hell out of the show, please. Okay? Please, please, please. And don't forget to visit our merchandise shop too. We got a bunch of shirts and hats there for sale. So check it out. There's the QR code to visit our merch shop. Por favor. Appreciate that immensely. By the way, every month we are at Toyota of Hollywood. And Herbie Lopez and the great people at Toyota of Hollywood. Herbie's a big Bitcoin guy like I am too. So he's a smart man. He knows. He gets it. Sees what's going on. And also, there's some specials going on. Over 2,000 cars and trucks at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,200 new cars. They've got 2.75% financing going on right now. 4 years right now, 0% down. So get on down to 1841 North State Road 7. It's on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan Street. Tell them that Big O sent you. I promise you that they will take care of you, man. They are amazing people. They got a service center that is second to none. They've got a couple restaurants in there, even a Subway's. It's pretty cool. Great place to relax while you're waiting for your car. They've got TVs and couches. Really comfortable, man. I'm telling you, Toyota of Hollywood goes above and beyond. You're going to love them. So go check it out. My daughter just got a Corolla. Actually, one of our listeners just got a Camry. Just sent me a DM last week, actually, that he went to Toyota of Hollywood and got a Camry there. So go check it out. And one of the things you're going to love, by the way, is the selection. So it's really nice when you go and you have, 20, 30, 40, 50 cars of the same model. So you could get get a selection of different colors, different styles, all that kind of stuff. So you can drive off the lot. It's a beautiful thing, man. So go check it out at Toyota of Hollywood. All right. All right. Let's see what else do we have here. Happy birthday to the greatest female athlete of them all, Babe Diedrichsen Zaharias. It's like these Tua haters have their heads in the sand for the last 20 years when it comes to QB play. I don't want to go back to having scrappy teams that can only win when everything goes right. I know. It's the problem is that, the ignorant part of it all is you take the accuracy and ball placement for granted, because you think that anybody can, if you put somebody else in the offense, McDaniel will make them a start. No, dude. No, I won't. No, I won't. Because not everybody, all the guys that were here before Tua, they all would have failed. None of them have his skill set. And that's the part that a lot of you seem to be missing, but it gets boring to talk about that all the time. Let's see. I predict Tua will win Tua and the Dolphins will win the division and surprise in the playoffs. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Need it, that's for sure. Need it, gotta have it. By the way, tonight, for you folks in Orlando, J-Lo is in town at the Kia Center. I unless you gave me front row tickets, I don't know why I would want to go to a J-Lo concert. Friday and Saturday, she's at the Kesare Center. Friday night, by the way, Brian McKnight. Now, he's a badass. He's at the Hard Rock Live in Orlando. Saturday, the Atlanta Rhythm section is in Niceville, Florida, at the Maddie Kelly Arts Center. So those are some of the concerts going on this week. God, I am pissed that that the alarm isn't coming to town, and that it was a false alarm on the whole thing with Respectable Street. That just sucks. I think he had a medical. Now that I remember, I think there was he had some kind of medical condition or something. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I remember that. Actually, I think I even read it here on the show, and that's why I didn't even remember that when I looked it up. I should have remembered that that the tour was canceled. So, unfortunately, but would have been good because anything at Respectable Street is actually really good because it's such a small place. And so, to me, that's the best stuff when you get to go to a place that it's kind of intimate, and you get to see a band in that kind of a setting. It's actually pretty good. Thought J-Lo was taking care of personal family matters and thought she canceled. She did. She canceled all her concerts because you know what? Maybe this concert listing, I got to look at it. You might be right, my brother. Let me see. What's it called? Kesare Center, right? Maybe you might be right. Maybe the Kesare Center is not having J-Lo. Let me see. You could be correct. Yeah. No, I don't see her here. You're right. So those J-Lo dates are done. So good news for Orlando and good news for Miami. People aren't getting ripped off with a J-Lo concert. That's good. Nicki Minaj is going to the Kesare Center October 6th, by the way. Now, when Nicki Minaj is performing at the Kesare Center, does she perform in one part of the arena and is her ass on the other side of the arena or outside of the arena? Or do you need a second arena for her ass only? Because if Nicki Minaj ever passes away, they're going to need, to extend the coffin. Usher, October 11th and 12th. So Kesare getting a lot of love on the show. Usher, 11th, 12th, and 14th. Damn. Holy shit. Shakira, November 20th. Mark Anthony, November 17th. Everybody tells me Mark Anthony is the bomb live. Shakira is November 20 and 21. Those hips don't lie. I can tell you that. So, yeah, how about that? People are free of J-Lo. It's a good thing. It's a really good thing. Big O, if the Dolphins don't pay Tua now and Tua leads the Dolphins to the Super Bowl wins and he gets the MVP, these crybabies will cry even more on how much they will pay. Well, yeah, but at that point, they can't cry because he won the Super Bowl. But then again, those people will say he didn't really win. Yeah. What can I tell you? Listen, if they go on to win the Super Bowl, I don't give a shit. What they pay them, what not. I at that point, I've got a Super Bowl. You know, Samuel, you lost me with Super Bowl. Once I get my Super Bowl, I don't care. I don't care what happens. I'm 57. I'll be 58 years old when they win the Super Bowl next year. Headed for 59. You think I'm going to be worried about? I don't care after that. I'm going to be celebrating that Super Bowl for the rest of my life. So once he wins the Super Bowl, that's it. Anybody that complains about anything, I'm just going to laugh at him, and I'm going to be in too good of a mood. You know what I'm saying? That I just, it's done. Okay, done. It's over. Don't care. I got my Super Bowl. It's all I want. I want my Super Bowl. That's all I need. Orlando, have you heard anything about the Panthers building a new arena and moving? No. No. That's no shot. Let's see. What else do we have here? V21 says I'd probably buy a Tua jersey. I could see myself buying another one. Yeah. That would make a lot of sense. I would probably buy an entire closet full of Tua jerseys if he wins me a Super Bowl. Are you kidding me? If Tua wins me a Super Bowl this year, okay, I'm not even worried about anything. I'll build a statue outside my house for Tua. Okay? What they pay him or not, I don't care. You know? It'll just be fun. Yeah, if you have your franchise QB, nobody cares how much he's getting paid. Except if it's Tua. If it's Tua, we'll get people to complain no matter what, because that's what they do. All right, we thank David Furones. We thank Manny Navarro. We thank David Dwork. We thank, of course, Sean Stanley, the man, the myth, the legend. We thank all of you out there. Please visit our amazing sponsors. As always, if you're watching or listening at any time after, you can make a donation to the show, Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. As Sean Stanley puts up there, Hialeah Park tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So we got an afternoon show. Friday, we are at Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. So we've got 2 road shows coming up. So tomorrow, 3 o'clock at Hialeah. Friday, 10 a.m. at Acura of Pembroke Pines. We will see you all tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock. Same time, same place, same bat channel.